Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
You heard you could save big when you bundle home and auto with Progressive, so you went online to check it out. But then you saw a link for a survey about which type of bread you are. And now you're on question 17, barely scratching the surface of your bread identity. You always thought of yourself as a brioche, but are you actually more of a pumpernickel? Ah, yes. They said it was easy to save money bundling with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile, we're extra ready for whatever comes our way and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charged coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.
Welcome to Sporgy,
The show that gives you half-ass sports fans giving their half-ass opinions.
and now here are your hosts.
All right, 2021 made it around the other side. I'm Chris.
I'm Rich.
No Iceman. He'll be back at some point. But yeah, let's see. As we record this, the Heisman handed out last night. Devontae Smith from Alabama. Shocking. One of the Tide got the Heisman. Color me surprised.
I mean, it's beginning of college football, the last 5 to 10 seasons. At the beginning of the season, can't we just go? We can almost pick one of 3 teams the Heisman's coming from and the national championship. Who's going to win the national championship? And it's one of those 3 teams, and we'd probably be right.
I don't know. I don't think they should have. It's a hot take, but I don't think they should have had a CFP. I don't think they should have done the Heisman. This whole college football season has been a fucking joke.
This has been, as Mike Valenti here in Detroit puts it, this is an asterisk season. This is a season that we look back on and go, remember when we had decimated teams play each other with nobody in the stands just so we can get our mind off the fact that death was waiting for us around the corner? Yeah, that sucked.
Yeah, that was cool.
You know, and then boom, you know, and I agree with him. I'm like, dude, you had some teams that played what? Didn't even play 6 games?
Ohio State's going to play for a national championship, and they only played 6 games. I don't know how I feel about that.
Well, I mean, they're one of the 3 teams at the beginning of each season the last decade. I would say Clemson, Bama, or Ohio State.
No, in their defense, they did dot Clemson's eye on Saturday. I mean, it shut Dabo right the fuck up because Ohio State was mad at him.
I told you all in the last episode I was on, and Ohio State was going to play Northwestern, and, you know, Earl's, don't, you know, Ohio State might not be as good as these, blah, blah, blah. And I'm just like, it ain't going to be Northwestern that slows them down. So I don't want to fucking hear it. I kind of felt the same way about Clemson. It's going to have to be fucking Nicky Baby out there in Alabama.
I mean, they are like the Midwestern Alabama. Like, they got to be buying their players. They're just,
absolutely.
They are consistently just so good year after year. There's got to be some funny business going on with their boosters.
Absolutely. And I truly, honestly think it started. Well, first of all, I believe the old, you know, saying or proverb, however you want to put it, or that surrounds college football. Show me a consistently winning program who is consistently winning, not like one of these ones who had two fluke good draft classes. And then, boom, had a flare-up and won a national championship and then faded back to obscurity like Boise State or somebody. You know, I mean, even though it might not be the best example, you get my point. They're buying their players. They're cheating. They have to be. How many college football teams are there? How many good college football teams are there? How many can't-miss, gotta-have players are there? There's a whole lot of 2-3 3-star players out there just to fill a roster. And by the way, that don't mean shit coming out of high school. There's a lot of motherfuckers that were supposed to be the next big thing in high school and just shit the bed in fucking college, and we know there's a lot that did it from college to the pros.
Or one injury and that's it, right? I mean, I got a buddy who should have played pro, but he was being scouted by colleges and knee injury senior season. That's it. He's a graphic designer now.
Yeah. I have a buddy who pitched in college. Actually did like really well and fucked his shoulder up. And he's like CC Sabathia big. He's so big. When I first met him, I opened the door and it was a party and he banged on the door and I was like, I swung the door open trying to be funny because it was a party and, we're drunk, full swing and a couple other things also, but whatever. And, I opened the door and 6'5", 310 pounds, hardly fat, just solid, standing there. And I'm like,
hello, sir.
I was like, who the fuck's knocking on my door like the police? And then I opened the door and I'm like, I am so sorry I answered the door that way.
Yeah.
How you doing, Mr. Repo Man?
Yeah.
Please tell you you're not here for my car.
Yeah, exactly. It's a guy you call sir. Hello, sir. Would you like a beer?
So it's been, 15 years? And I'll say his real name to my friends, and they're like, "What are you talking about?" And I'm like, "Repo." They're like, "Oh yeah. You never call him by his real name." I'm like, Jesus Christ, I know it. But no, I any team that wins consistently, I think cheats. I think the one thing, if you're a Michigan fan and a State fan, you can take out of these fucking downturns in their programs is they're most likely not cheating, or what's even worse than cheating is trying to cheat and being this bad at it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, you want to get into it? You opened the door. Should we just get into it?
Sure.
You weren't on the show, but I thought it was cute how both Michigan and Michigan State said, yeah, well, due to health concerns, we're not participating in a bowl. Like, God. They're trying to pull, you can't fire me because I quit. Like, you were 2-5. You weren't going to shit.
Yeah, even if you played 6 games, you have to be 500.
Yeah.
For bowl, to qualify for a bowl. Even if they lowered it to say 500, no matter what, as long as you've played, no matter how many games you played.
To be fair, State did it too. Both of them. Like, guys, it's...
Oh, no.
It looks good, but you weren't going.
There's Michigan completely fucking tucked tail and ran away from Ohio State this year.
Oh, yeah. I want to know, your thoughts on... They ran away from the ass whooping that was coming to them. Because Ohio State whooped State's ass with, like, their fucking C team. Ohio State got COVID. Ohio State didn't care.
No, and that's the thing. I've had this conversation with a few people, and they go, well, Michigan has had a lot more COVID losses than Ohio State. Okay. And so if they got like, I don't know, 77 hung on them, maybe 100, which could have probably been possible. I chalk it up to COVID. Move the fuck on. Now you just look like a bitch. Now you look like you back down from a fight from your self-professed number one fucking rival, by the way. Which I've been over this on this show, and I maintain this. Ohio State don't consider us a rival anymore. They use permanent marker to WN a win at the last game of the year for the last fucking 15 years, and they've been wrong once. Okay. That's not a rivalry, folks. It's not. Now, there's hatred there still, but a rivalry? You got to have one team win every once in a while. You can't just have complete domination.
I think Harbaugh, I think he ain't going to save his job. I think not losing to Ohio State this year when you got an out like that gets you one more season.
This is honestly what I think was going on. I think that before COVID hit, Harbaugh thought, this is my last season. This is my fucking dress rehearsal to get back in the NFL. Because let's be honest, there's nowhere he's going in college football that's going to match the prestige of him being a Michigan man coming back to Michigan. Now, I'm just saying the hype train of him coming back to Michigan. No one else is going to get that hype. You know what I'm saying? It's just not happening. University of Toledo ain't getting that hype because he's coming there.
Yeah.
They'll just, you know what I'm saying? They're not. It's not like, he's coming home. It's like Steve Eisman coming back to the Red Wings. When Steve Eisman went to the Lightning, I know a lot of people in hockey were like, good luck with that.
Yeah, nobody cares.
He come back to Detroit. That's probably the most coverage the Red Wings have had since they last were in the Cup final. That's no joke. That's how big of a story that was here locally.
Most press in a decade.
And the Harbaugh to Michigan hype train was just about that. if not more, actually, because people actually could see, Hoke beat Ohio State, and Hoke built, everything fucking Rich Rod tore down. Hoke has at least built us up to a 500 program to where we're hovering around that mark. Here comes Harbaugh. It makes sense on the evolutionary scale. He's coming in. He's going to give us over the hump. He's going to make us compete for Big Ten championships and be in a talking national championship playoffs and all this shit. And it just hasn't happened. And I don't care why at this point. I am 6 years into this, 3 years past, trying to figure out why. 3 years in, I knew it wasn't going to work. That's when you throw the fucking towel in. But I think he was wanting to use this season as a dress rehearsal for the NFL. COVID hit. Michigan didn't want to fucking not offer him a contract because who the fuck they got to bring in immediately. He didn't want to fucking go to Michigan because he doesn't really want to be there. So what happens? There's hardly any fucking talk about a contract. And this was last night. This is we got the shit going on in D.C. as we're recording, so I can't get anything about sports from anything. Everything's politics right now. So, but as of last night, the last offer on the table was a very bare bones contract, 1 year contract to him, incentive laden. Incentives like beat Ohio State, make it to Indiana, beat Michigan State. You know what I'm saying? Like, maybe beat Michigan State he could do. They would be dumb if they have a winning record in there because he's had a winning record almost every year, and except for this year. So that's dumb. They got to be wanting him to take that next step. He didn't want that contract.
Well, all I know is I've been reading tons of articles about all these head coaching vacancies in the NFL. His name stopped being in them last week.
I think what really happened is the media loves throwing his name around because the media knows wherever he goes, the circus is going to follow.
For a minute, him and the Jets were there was a lot of Jets Harbaugh talk.
I think that's a lot of like Jet beat writers and national writers and journalists getting excited at that thought because you put Harbaugh in the media center of the fucking world,
trying to whiteboard it into existence.
Yeah, just like how the same media who has completely turned on everything Trump and Trump related and Trump adjacent, as they have now called things, before the 2016 election was loving Trump because he brought all these ratings in. Okay. Let Harbaugh go to the Jets in the pressure cooker and under the spotlight that is New York City and New York City sports press. And one of two things will happen. Because he ain't just going to fucking be mediocre there. He's going to fucking play way above his pay grade and actually make the Jets a contender. Or it's going down he's going down in just flames. Because the only thing that doesn't get Harbaugh lambasted after every fucking game this season is the bullshit, this unwritten rule that you can't take a Michigan head coach to task. You know what I'm saying? It's like, why the fuck not? If he was coaching State, they'd ask the tough questions. If he was coaching the Lions, they damn sure would ask the tough questions. But since he's at Michigan, and I don't know if it's because a lot of these writers went to Michigan or they have ties with people in the program and they don't want to burn bridges, but you got to put that shit aside when you're writing a fucking story, especially if you're only concerned about the facts. He comes out to New York, there's none of that consideration. He gets none of that leeway. New York will just rip him apart and just spread his entrails all over fucking, Times Square. They don't give a fuck out there. So that's what I'm saying. He's either going to sink or swim. And when I heard Jets, I'm like, that makes sense. Because his ego, I think he thinks he could turn the Jets around. But to me, if he interviewed for that job, if he said that, I'd be looking at him and go, you can't even turn Michigan around.
Yeah, right.
Makes you think you can turn a fucking franchise. And by the way, you the HNIC at Michigan.
Yeah.
You run the fucking place. You basically, you ain't got a Dave Brandon to deal with. Who's Michigan's AD?
No fucking clue.
Exactly. It's because he doesn't fucking matter now.
Yeah, because no clue since Dave Brandon left.
Exactly. It's because that's how it should be. Yeah. But it's only like that because believe me, if Harbaugh was doing what he's doing, but he didn't have that Harbaugh name and that pedigree at Michigan as a former player and being coached under Bo, yeah, they'd have taken his ass to task, and we'd know who the athletic director is because they'd be going, fire this asshole and fire that athletic director who's let this asshole be here for 6 years. What the fuck is going on? I mean, Rich Rod and Brady Hoke both had a fuck of a lot shorter leash. Rich Rod, I mean, deservedly so.
Yeah.
I mean, dude, it was pretty much over the end of that third season when he got up at the fucking team dinner and started singing "You Lift Me Up" by Josh Brolin. It was, or whatever the fuck, Josh, whatever.
Groveling for his job.
Yeah, it was like, bro, you snapped. You know what I'm saying? Like, you in reality parted ways. Even if it was briefly, you still parted ways. You ain't playing with a full deck. Bye-bye.
Yeah.
And Brady Hoke, I just think Brady Hoke was trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. He wanted to be that old school, I don't wear a headset, Vince Lombardi type coach.
He was trying to be Bo 2.0.
Well, and Bo would fit into that. But those coaches don't exist, and if they do, they're one teaspoon of salt and sugar from the fucking grave.
Yeah, I would say they're in a nursing home at this point.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just, I don't know what Michigan's doing. And to be honest with you, once I saw how this college football season was going, I was like, I watch college football games as if they're in a bubble. And I don't mean the 2020 version of the bubble. I'm talking about as if this game is only important to itself. I don't care about the standings. I don't care about who else is in what conference. I just want to see a good game between, let's say, Tennessee and Alabama. It's not, I'm not worried about the national championship implications. Just show me a good game. This is a mulligan of a season. I mean, that's the way I feel about it. But also,
2020 itself was a mulligan.
Well, yeah. I mean, I've heard people go, man, I lost a year of my life. We all just did. This is what it feels like collectively. Because believe me, we ain't going to be out of this by fucking the end of February. And that's when this shit started wholesale in the country, in this country.
I lost 2 jobs.
I buried 3 friends.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
All younger than me.
Damn.
So, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Life comes at you fast.
True.
But, yeah, Michigan looks like a joke. If you're a Michigan fan and you have any delusions that this is like a top tier program in the Big Ten, you're delusional. Like I was, our highest rated sports talk guy here in Detroit is a state slappy because he went to state. So he's lathering himself up in that green and white butter every goddamn week, even though mostly only talks about Michigan. But, he brought up to me a very good point. He said they were ranking the teams in the Big Ten. And, people on his show, had 5, I think was the highest, 8, couple 8s, few 7s, I think 1 9. He was like, how are they in the top half? Anyone who put them in the top half in the Big Ten, you got to defend that. Like, I'm not saying put them at the very bottom, but they're in the bottom half of the Big Ten as far as, is it a team that other teams in the Big Ten are worried about playing? I don't think Michigan is.
Right now, no.
I think for Rutgers, for Maryland, Nebraska, yeah.
Michigan State?
I think State's just going through not a rebuild because you really don't rebuild in college because it's a 4-year turnover, but just, I keep forgetting State. What's State's new head coach name?
Black guy.
I can picture him, but I can't remember his name.
Mel Tucker.
Okay, so I think Tucker's going to have to you're going to have to give him at least, unless he fucking Rich Rods it up for 3 years, you got to give him at least 3 full seasons. This season being a mulligan, obviously.
Yeah.
To implement and get his guys in there. So, I mean, like,
this is a good year for that, though. This being his first year, the transitional year, the first non-D'Antonio year, I think that might work out for that guy.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, that State is in a better position than Michigan is, in my opinion, because of this. One, Mel Tucker comes in, all the hassle of being a coach in the Big Ten, And I will put State above Michigan as far as prestige in the Big Ten, just simply based on what? The last 15, 20 years? I mean, you take out the early 2000s for Michigan, you basically take out any season 2006 and before. So the last 15 seasons. And, I mean, State's just been neck deep in Michigan's ass. Made the playoffs.
Yeah.
You know, beat Ohio State. Won the Big Ten.
Got housed by Alabama on national TV. It was great.
Yeah, but at that point, you're just like, I'm just happy to show up at the gangbang.
Yeah,
especially when it's 25-year-old Jennifer Aniston getting gangbanged. Even if I only get a fingernail on it, she still touched my dick. You know
Yeah, I mean,
saying?
that was. I remember having that feeling like, just happy to be watching this.
That's how I'm going to feel. We'll talk about it later, but it's how I'm going to feel with this one playoff win Tampa Bay is going to get this season. But we'll talk about that in a second.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then the NCAA announces they're adding another power conference as of what, 2022? The NCAA?
What, they're making a new one?
The WAC is coming back.
The Western Athletic Conference?
Yeah.
What is that? Who was in that? Let me look it up on the Google machine.
Dude, I swear to God, they started naming fucking schools, and I was like, I've never heard of any of these fucking schools.
But I mean, it's
not their athletic programs, at least.
So it hasn't existed since 2009, according to this.
Right.
Let's click on the Wikipedia. Today, Junior.
You must have the same internet I have.
No, I have a computer that's 9 years old.
Oh, I'm just saying, because of everybody working from home and kids, being homeschooled in this area, internet's just bogged down this time of day until about 7 o'clock at night.
Gotcha.
Forget it. That's what I was going to tell you. But faithful listeners, we do appreciate you listening. But see, I'm on the verge of having high blood pressure at the moment, and if I cut out twice, I ain't coming back a third time to get cut out. So there's a 2 cutout limit. So if you hear me talking, it cuts out, and you hear Chris go, "Huh, Rich? I'm coming back one time. It happens again, just wrap it up." You might as well just, unless Chris wants to freestyle, just wrap it up. Because I'm at that point, I'm turning fucking Skype off, hanging up my fucking headset, and I'm going outside to get a cigarette before I kill somebody. So yeah.
But the WAC, it only happened 1 year, September 3rd, 2009, and January 4th, 2010. It's all teams that still exist, but they're all apparently scattered in different conferences right now. Boise State, Fresno State, Hawaii, Idaho, Louisiana Tech, Nevada, New Mexico State, San Jose State, and Utah State.
That's the ones for 2022, because that is not who they fucking said on the radio this morning.
Well, this is the Wikipedia for the 2009 WAC. So let me do WAC 2020 or WAC 2022. WAC lighting. Oh, here we go. Well, it connects to KSL.com. I think some AM station's website. Oh, wow. Okay. See what you're saying. Abilene Christian. Lamar. Like, that's a school? Like, not just... It's just a dude. Hey, how's it going, guys?
When I heard Lamar, I was like, the gay guy from fucking Revenge of the Nerds?
Right. Sam Houston State. Stephen F. Austin. Tarleton State?
Tarleton, yes.
Dixie State and Southern Utah. So, okay.
Yep. So, college football, these teams exist, but, I mean, they're trying to form another powerhouse of a conference. Well,
that's supposed to be Power 6?
It sounds like the MAC's finally going to be like, we're not the ones getting beat up on all the time.
I'd say, like, at least promote the MAC or a conference like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, promote a Division II conference to a power conference.
Yeah, and I mean, all bullshit aside, for a fact there's a lot of good players that come out the MAC. I mean, Antonio Brown.
Le'Veon Bell, or no, wait, he was Big Ten. No, wait, Bell? No, Bell was at State. Never mind.
But you get my point. There's, you can. there's players. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have people tune in, but I don't know.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Bodega, Alpha and Omega. Siamese sailors sell celery sandwiches. Sawing-a-bada, serving platter.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
Did you want to try reading that line on the script there?
Oh, yeah, let's see. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just not warmed up yet. Shouldn't be long. Detector test.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive today.
The marmot mangled my mushy pork pancake.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile. We're extra ready for whatever comes our way, and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charge coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile. We're extra ready for whatever comes our way, and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charge coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
At Jewelers Mutual, we're a little obsessed with jewelry. Obsessed like auctioneers with talking fast.
50, we're going to 50.
Pop stars with auto-tune. And dentists with asking questions.
So, how did he propose?
After they've put their hands in your mouth.
Great.
Yes, we've made jewelry our obsession for over 100 years. We love it so much we named our kids Ruby, Amber, and Opal.
Venti soy latte for Opal?
At Jewelers Mutual, we insure jewelry and only jewelry, which is why people who are also obsessed with jewelry trust us with theirs.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
College football is once again. I'm just shaking my head, going, I don't understand what the fuck they're trying to do. I don't know. Like, dude, it's almost been a decade since they had a fucking college football video game out. You know how much money their fucking watch fly out the window over that shit because they refuse to fucking even talk to get to athletes getting reimbursed for their own likeness.
Well,
and by the way,
they're going to have to figure it out in 2022. That's when they start paying them, right? Or at least letting them make money.
Not only that, but I mean, just to be honest here, if they can let that much money go, then an exclusive video game license with EA Sports would net them. Jesus fucking Christ! How much money does the NCAA have?
Do they have a March Madness video game, or they just been out of the video game business for a while?
No, they don't have any. I don't think a college basketball game is what got this started. A former college basketball player was at his buddy's house, and he popped in the game, and they're like, they're supposed to use generic players, and he's like, "That's my number, that's my tattoo, that's my haircut, that's my stats." He's like, "That's my likeness." So we called a lawyer, and a couple other former players joined in because they were using, what they call them, like the former, college basketball greats and all this shit. I think Bill Russell was involved in it at one point, blah, blah, blah. And they ultimately ended up winning because they were like, if you're going to use players' likenesses and put them in games, you got to pay them.
Yeah, that's how the law works with everything else except the NCAA.
And EA said, no, thank you. And that was the end of it. And that was 2013 was the last year they put out a college football game. And I mean, dude, this year, anyone who goes, I don't understand why we play video games. I don't get it. Well, do you sit your ass in front of a TV and watch movies and television? Because video games did more than movies, television, and porno did this year combined.
Holy shit.
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
Billions and billions of dollars. So there are over 3 billion of PS4, PS3, Xbox One, Xbox 360s in households around the world.
PS5, I'm sure Gusto sales a little bit.
Well, PS5 and the new Xbox, whatever it is, Series X or whatever, I mean, they've only been out like a month, and no one's been able to get any because they sold out instantaneously. You're still paying scalper prices.
Twitch and Discord are things, like,
you know.
Yeah,
so,
man.
I mean, like, imagine once they actually can be found, you walk into a store and go, oh, they got one, and I only have to pay $400 for it versus $1,200 on fucking eBay. Okay, I mean, dude, that's half this fucking world has one of these two video game consoles in their home.
You know it's a thing because ESPN covers esports.
Yeah, when that shit started, yeah, definitely. But I mean, the point is, I don't get what the fuck the NCAA is doing with a lot of shit. And if you listen to us, you know we're no fans of them on this show. But I mean, this is just like, this is ridiculous. Like this year, I get it. You had to do what you had to do to get through it. But I mean, you know, the shit with first of all, the shit that's allowed to happen with a coach and a group of players he recruits and boosters who are paying off the players, and then the school gets caught or the program gets caught. The players have already graduated. The boosters are fucking banned, so they just fucking pay someone else to show up and hand their checks to the people next time. They don't go and do it themselves. And the coach has already moved on to his next coaching job. Now a bunch of people that had nothing to do with anything that happened at that school or the cheating are punished for it. That's an issue I have with the NCAA. Like there has to be some sort of fucking like they got to get their shit together. You know, if you're a coach and your team gets caught cheating, lifetime ban. You'll never coach an NCAA again. If you're a player, lifetime ban. You can't come to a game. You can't be on the sideline.
Hey, this is like tangentially related to the subject. No one ever asked any questions about Ed Martin's death. How he just conveniently had a heart attack like the day he was supposed to, before he was supposed to testify. We just went, oh, it's a heart attack. It's crazy. Now that was it. No one asked any questions. Seems
like it. I'm right there with you, man. I mean,
I was like 13, and I went, huh. All right. I mean, I guess.
Shit seems a little strange, but who am I? I'm just 13. Maybe I don't know as much as I think I do.
But you ask me, I'm not a lawyer. I'm just a kid. But, you know, that just looks like something happened there. I want to send to someone with a badge and a pad of paper. Ask a couple questions. But anyway. Because you were talking about boosters and shit.
But yeah, I mean, it's and this nonsense going on with Jim Harbaugh should not be allowed to go on. Like the NCAA should have said, "Look, you were scheduled to play the game. If you can't produce evidence, not bullshit. Oh, he says, she says, but hard evidence, paperwork from a doctor saying half your goddamn team's down with COVID. Then you play with the players you have. Why? Because injuries are a part of dealing with a team in football.
Yeah, there should have been a ton of forfeits this year. I mean, how many teams? SEC, prime example, Alabama. You know, how many teams fielded? Teams when dozens of guys were out. I mean, it said, what was it? Ohio State had like their C squad. They had like half their starters missing when they played Michigan State. Still housed them.
Well, I mean, here's my question, and this is what never made any sense about this shit. People defending this shit with Michigan ducking Ohio State this year. Okay, so you say they can't play because they got sick players. Okay, what happens if those were injured players that it had nothing to do with COVID? Would they be able to not play the game? Would they be able to fucking, basically go, we'll skip the game this year and it won't count for or against anybody? No, it does not fucking matter, man. Injuries are in dealing with them and managing a club around people being injured, and being sick as being injured is part of the fucking job. Do your fucking job. Now, the only problem I have with saying that is that we're not talking about professional athletes. We're talking about fucking barely adults in college out there not getting, well, in theory, not getting paid. You know what I'm saying? But, we all know how that works. So, yeah. But yeah, it's going to be interesting next year because I don't know how this is going to, like, they're trying their best to say that, like, we will be back to as close to normal as we can get before we're like fully normal by midsummer, as far as sporting events, people in the stands, et cetera, et cetera.
I can't wait.
If that doesn't happen and this shit bleeds over into another year, the NCAA can't afford another fucking year of mulligans in their football.
Oh, well,
they can't.
Well, they figured out March Madness already.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Mask Madness. They already copyrighted that, which that's fucking dumb. But they're doing it in a bubble. No one leaves Indianapolis or wherever the fuck it is this year.
I mean, and so that leads us to can't do that with college football because it's once a week and they're student athletes. Well, then I guess you don't play college football.
Well, they're doing basketball right now. COVID doesn't seem to be running through basketball like it did football.
Well, I mean, it just started, and I would add a very big yet to that.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm just saying, you're talking
you can't control. They're college kids, dude. They don't have skin in the game. You know, I think part of the reason why the NFL is so successful, minus those couple incidents, is because those guys got skin in the game. Probably very hefty fines coming their way if they broke the protocols. You know, if an outbreak happened and it was traced back to them.
Well, I mean, I will give the NFL that. I mean, they fucking said, "Hey, look, coaches on the sidelines, players coming out to see each other, middle of the field, mask up, or else we're going to hand out fines."
Well, after the Titans, they tightened up all their protocols. Like that's where the people started having to be on the COVID. You know, even if you were like around someone who was around someone, like that. You know, like that incident with Stafford where he was on the COVID list on Monday, but he was ready to go for Sunday. That's when that shit started, was after the Titans outbreak.
Yeah. Well, I mean, my point of it is just, I don't know. You got to do something, or else you can't keep putting these. You can't keep what happened this year in college football going on next year in college football.
No, this season was a fucking joke.
All right, I don't know what else to say. I don't know if that means you move it, maybe move it up. You know, you go, okay, give me an even number of teams to break up into two parts. You know, like East and West, and then the teams in the East play each other, and teams in the West play each other. You know, kind of like they did during the hockey playoffs this year. You know, and keep them. Get on the bus, get off the bus, change, hit the field, warm up, play the game, get back in the locker room. Shower, change, get on the bus, go back. That's it. End of story.
Or a regular season, it just doesn't start till October. 8-game season. Everybody. Like that's like to me, that's the whole thing that rubs me the wrong way. Is like I said, Ohio State is going to play for national championship. They only played 6 games. Alabama played fucking 11. They played almost a full college season.
Well, there's also the fact that there's a lot of fucking teams out there that I mean, you know, I that's one of the reasons I love college football, because, you know, you can be a fan in a bubble, just your little like, well, as long as my team does well in conference, that's all I care about, you know, and then we play our bowl game, and if we win about 50% of the time, okay, cool. And that's a lot of college, you know, fans of college programs. A lot of college programs aren't all that great. To have long-term success consistently, that's a hard thing to do in college, man. It really is. And especially these days, because Jesus fucking Christ, people are fucking job hopping left and right as far as coaches and everything else. I mean, you know, you get players that commit, and then, you know, they commit because, hey, I like this coach. 2 days after signing day, the coach leaves to go to the fucking, you know, to the NFL.
Yeah.
And you got players decommitting, and you're just like roaches when the lights come on, y'all scatter. What the fuck?
But it's a lot easier too. I mean, how many the transfer portal is just it's just a thing now. Like what the guy was QB for Michigan State this year, already gone, because it's once they made it easier to transfer, you know, it's
it all comes. College comes back down to this with me. These are non-paid athletes. These are quote unquote student athletes. What do we expect? Do we expect them to risk their lives to play a game?
Only the ones that have a shot at going pro.
I mean, it's because I believe me, I guarantee.
If I was in their situation, I would be like, "Fuck!" Like I have a chance here to get into like an elite club. Yeah, I'll wear a mask.
You got to play what? Is it 2 or 3 years for your draft eligible?
I think 2.
Okay.
NBA
so let's say
1.
Yeah, it's 1 in the NBA. So let's say if you get recruited, you're a true freshman, you're not redshirted, you play your first 2 seasons. Okay, here's the deal. Or you play your first season, you're looked at to be, Heisman favorite, go in the first, go in the top 5, top 10, whatever it is. That's where you're projected. You're projected to have a great season. COVID hits. I'm sitting down going, okay, I'm a 20-year-old guy, and I am the pitcher of health at this point, because they might not be professional athletes as far as getting paid, but they're probably as close to being conditioned as well as a professional athlete as you can get. And yeah, let's be honest, their death rate is and long-term effects rate that we know of so far, I'd take that risk too.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel like shit. I'm going to get winded going up and down stairs for 2 weeks. I might have a hard time smelling or tasting stuff for, a month and a half. That all sucks. But first time I signed that $100 million contract, that ain't gonna suck for me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna pay hot bitches to walk around and be like, bitch, what's that smell like? Just tell me. Shit. I'll tell you what, if you can't smell and taste anything, it really opens up your dating life. Because I've had some really hot chicks with some really bad hygiene, and that's been the deal breaker. And if I didn't know it, I couldn't smell it or taste it, hey, I'd have put my bib on and been in there like fucking a fat kid eating a snack pack without a spoon, man. It wouldn't have mattered to me. Well, let's move on to a sport that hardly anyone fucking watches or listens to or talks about anymore, except for me on this show, which is hockey. And you have the World Juniors just happened, and the USA won. And I am shocked at how gracious Canadian fans of Team Canada took it online. In person, I'm never shocked at how nice Canadians are. I grew up too close to them. But online, even Canadians usually, especially anything hockey related, it brings the evil out in them motherfuckers. And I'm talking about that evil that Ricky Bobby put on fucking Homeboy. Like, don't put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby. But then I see the hatred. Fuck y'all ain't done shit. Y'all suck. Not your sport. Fucking blah, blah, blah. And then inevitably, and you got that fucking Cheeto jackass. And I'm just like, oh my God, dude, really? You think anybody playing in that World Junior Championship brought up Trump on the ice? Like, we got to kick the United States ass because they have Trump as president. No. Oh, Canada was like, we're going to kick USA's ass because we're Canada. And USA was like, hold up, got something for you. They beat the better team. Hey, shit happens. Know what? I'm I can take a little bit of pleasure in that. Hey, USA, number one in something besides incarceration and believing in angels. But now, then, like within a day or two of that happening, it comes out that the NHL has done a realignment for the upcoming season, which starts here in a couple weeks, and that's due to COVID in Canada, because Canada's going to have its own division. There's going to be 3 divisions in the states. They're going to have sponsors for the divisions.
What, like the Tim Hortons West Division?
The Tim Hortons North, yes. The State Farm East.
Oh, Tim Hortons is a real sponsor?
I mean, I'd imagine so. What's the biggest business in Canada? Yeah. Well, it's got money to throw around.
Well, I guess with no fans, yeah, they got to generate liquid, right? They got to pay the players.
And once it starts, it's only going to get worse. They've put advertisements on helmets. That'll be a thing this upcoming season.
Well, I mean, we've talked about it in the past. Like, they started doing it in the NBA. It's like, this is a thing. Like, this is one of the things the USA is kind of behind the rest of the world on. It's a thing in the rest with soccer teams, right? I mean, like,
oh yeah,
that's not. You're used to seeing soccer, just shit all over their jerseys. So I mean, it's inevitable that the capitalist country is the last to jump on that.
I was about to say, Hey, fucking American capitalist pigs, yet we kept our sports more pure than the rest of you fucking pieces of shit who talk shit about us and sleep soundly under the fucking protection of our military at the cost to us. But yeah, okay.
Except NASCAR. I mean, NASCAR's never cared. They just said, listen, this shit costs money.
I just get the feeling that NASCAR started off like literally a bunch of bootlegging rednecks.
It was.
And then eventually fucking people started showing up and watching. And they were like, wait, there's money to be made here? And they're like, well, let's start taking this shit seriously. And they were like, the money we're making bootlegging ain't covering that us racing on the weekends. Fuck we do. I don't know, sell spot on the car. Advertise in space.
I see ICE isn't here. I think NASCAR was born of because bootlegging went away. Like it was kind of like I'm talking on my ass. Like I know they started racing the cars that they would use because the cars, were all souped up. They could outrun police, and I think the racing was a byproduct of bootlegging ending. Like way for bootleggers to still make money. I don't know. Like I said, the historian ain't here.
Well, and hey, look, I understand that history book told you in general how shit went. But I can tell you for a fact, my dad and my cousin ran, when they were in their teens, would spend the summer down in Tennessee, and they ran fucking moonshine. And they were like 16, 17, barely had a driver's license. And this was in the fucking 60s.
Oh.
So this ain't that fucking long ago. I mean, I understand if you're a millennial, history just started when you started remembering shit, but there was a world before you got here, trust me.
Hey, by the way, real quick, before we get too far away from him, did you know that the USA junior hockey team got in trouble on Twitter for posing with a trash can that had the word Canada on it?
Okay. Is that what? Okay. First of all, that shows you the level of arguments about, from Canadians when you talk about the like World Cup hockey. They were arguing over it's a barrel, it's not a can.
No, that's what he's saying. That's the coach is making that argument. It's something to symbolize the next game, and we do it for every team.
Okay, well, use it for bulletin board material and say, see you next championship.
Hey, also, you're trash. But
well, would they rather play the team that used that trash can to cheat to win?
Right? Buzzing. So the realigned NHL. You're right with they're not putting. Once you let the genie out of the bottle with that stuff, it's never going back. So.
No, I predict in 5 years you're going to see. I can't imagine them putting, because of the design of hockey jerseys, ads at the bottom underneath the numbers and the nameplate, because most hockey jerseys have stripes down there, and it would break up the uniform. So what I imagine they're going to do is they're going to shrink the numbers and the nameplate size, and then put the ad where the nameplate is right now, and then. That'll be the next one, or the next one will be whatever side that the C and the A doesn't go on for the captain and the assistant captains. There'll be like a little patch with an advertisement on it the opposite side of that.
I found the divisions and the sponsors.
Is Timmy Ho one of them?
Stand by. Loading. All right. Discover, Moss Mutual, Scotia, and Honda. Wow, so they got fucking 3 banks and a car dealer. So they got people who cut checks. Is what they got.
Well, Scotia, let me guess.
They're
bank. Handling the Canadian
North Division.
Yes, the Canadian division. Yeah, I know Scotia's the bank, but I'm just saying what they have to be handling. It's a Canadian bank.
Yeah. Honda's got the West Division, Discover's got the Central Division, and Moss Mutual's got the East Division.
It figures credit card goes for the Central Division because the Midwest is in so much debt.
Right. Scotia.
Jesus.
The Scotia Division is Calgary, Edmonton, Montreal, Toronto, Ottawa, Vancouver, and Winnipeg. The West is Anaheim, Arizona, Colorado, Los Angeles, Minnesota, San Jose, St. Louis, and Vegas. The Central is Carolina, Chicago, Columbus, Dallas, Detroit, Florida, Nashville, and Tampa Bay. And the East is Boston, Buffalo, New Jersey, both the New York teams, Philly, Pittsburgh, and Washington. I bet you these divisions stay.
I don't think so. Because I think the NHL wants those international games back.
Well, no, they can still have them. Once COVID's over, you just...
Well, I mean, right now as it is, I think you only play your division. and they lowered it to, I want to say, 56 games instead of 81, 82 games, whatever it is.
Yeah, they're definitely not going out like the NBA. The NBA is only losing 2 games.
Yeah, so I mean, you still have another 30 games to fill. Now, maybe moving forward, if they kept it this way, they would do something like they do in the NFL. Even though the NFL has you play 2 people from one division one year, 2 people from another division the next year. Maybe it'll be like next season, East will play West, North will play Midwest, and then they'll switch. You know what I'm saying? And then so every season you play your division, and then 30 games with another division, or give or take how many ever games to get it to the full season.
Or 82 games, you fucking play all the fucking divisions.
To me, that's always made sense, because especially in hockey, because hockey was originally 6 teams. Everybody played everybody. And by the way, they were still playing like 60, 70 game seasons along with a fucking long-ass everybody in playoff. So, I mean, that's always been hockey.
Because I could see them turning these into conferences and then just making them divisions from there. Because everybody's got 8, except it looks like the North, that it's got 5.
You're making me miss when the Wings and shit were in the Norris division.
Yeah, man. That's what I'm saying.
You're killing me, man. Killing me, Smalls. Killing me.
Yeah, back the old Wales Conference days.
Mm-hmm. Shit, back when you could watch the Whale play out in Hartford.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see about hockey this year. I get a bad feeling that this is this year was tacked on to make the fucking owners money, because it seems very owner friendly. Fuck the fans. Fuck the, we're selling rights to the division. We're selling advertisements on our helmets. We're going to cut the play down. Travel costs are going to go way down for teams. Think about all those East Coast and West Coast teams that don't have to fly halfway across the country fucking multiple times, dozens of times.
Travel costs will be, I mean, I get it from a business standpoint. They got to generate revenue. They don't, without butts in the seats, that was the revenue.
Yeah, and I mean, I think that one of the only reasons hockey has survived this long, one of the handful of reasons it has at least, is because hockey is such a goddamn good sport to watch live.
Yeah.
You go to a baseball game, you could sit there for 3.5 hours and watch a baseball game and have full-on conversations with people and not miss a goddamn thing.
I have fallen asleep at baseball games. You're not falling asleep at a hockey game. There's constant action.
Yes. Because you don't realize what you see on TV does not translate to what's going on the ice. You can call out a football formation. They're in shotgun, pro style. He's, I'm saying, whatever, before the play. As the plays develop, plays are fluid in hockey. They develop. They change. Are you in the neutral zone? You have a plan for the neutral zone. So everybody has to play their role. How they forecheck, how they back check, how they handle a fucking power play. Are they going to be in a diamond shape, or are they going to, be a triangle +1? When they're a 5-on-5, are their defense going to be 4 guys in a box shape, a box +1? There's a whole bunch. See, it's for people going, all hockey is guys throwing the fucking puck up and down the ice. A lot more to it than you think, kids. Yeah. But yeah, that's probably the only thing. One of the only things that saved hockey's ass, really.
Hey, the Red Wings are going to have United Wholesale Mortgage on their helmets. I have an article here that gives you the sponsors on every team's helmet.
One guy called into the local sports talk and said, well, I don't understand why Little Caesars just don't fucking do it. I'm like, because Little Caesar, the family that owns Little Caesars owns Red Wings, stupid. They want to get paid, not by themselves.
It's trading their own money. They need to generate revenue. Yeah.
It's like Christmas Day at the Illiches. Hey, Chris. Yes, Mom. I gave Little Caesars to the right to advertise for your Red Wings. Oh, thanks. So what's that mean for me? More work, same amount of money. Oh, great. That's not how business people work. Stupid.
Mm-hmm.
But and there is, I still can't. This actually hurts my heart a little bit. Brendan Shanahan was such a fucking great guy when he was here in Detroit. Never heard people talk shit about him outside of the sport. Anytime they had a personal run-in with him, he was cool. Motherfucker always played with his heart on his sleeve. put it all out there for his teammates, Supermaned Patrick Waugh in one of the most infamous hockey brawls in the history of the fucking sport. Fuck the Red Wings, the sport. Now that he's fucking retired, we need to take hitting and fighting out of hockey. And he's in charge of safety. And I'm just like, are they going to implement that bullshit because of COVID next season? Are we going to see a bunch of motherfuckers out there playing basketball on ice? Because that's the prophecy I've been beating on for a fucking 15 years now. Like, keep fucking around. Well, fuck that. For 20 years now. Basically since the fucking end of the 90s. I was like, keep fucking around and keep fucking Bettman in there. An old basketball guy, and we're going to be watching basketball on ice. And he got one of the fucking grittiest players, the epitome of a power forward, the tough guy, skilled player, to come out and be like, yup, we need to get rid of fighting and physicality. I hate everybody, man. There's no hope for this world. Like politics, sports, everything sucks. Like what happened when we were kids? Everything was like interesting. Right. Nothing's interesting anymore. Like we know what's going to happen. Like, 2 weeks before the end of the season, had general manager of an NFL team, we have every faith in our coach. He's not going anywhere. Well, that motherfucker might as well pack his bags and put his fucking job application up on like Glassdoor. Yeah. He's done. We know what that means. When we were kids, you could lie to us. We ain't kids anymore.
Never want the vote of confidence from your owner.
No. Much like if I know who Michigan's AD is, it's because you're either doing a really good job or a really bad job. And I don't see any national championship fucking statues there. So why do I know your name? You know, like, yeah. So yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And man, I really, before the world went to shit as it did last year, I was really like going to whole hog, go in, run up to the playoffs, follow the playoffs, watch as many games as I could, blah, 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 blah. Everything changed. Everything blew up. And now I'm just like, I don't even know if I want to watch fucking hockey anymore. Like they're turning this into a game I don't recognize. Why would I want to watch it? I mean, so we'll see. Hopefully.
European hockey.
I don't understand why all aspects of a game can't be appreciated anymore. I don't understand why if a team has a dominant running back, there's people out there that'll shit on that team and say you can't win with a running team. If a team has a dominant defense, people that got to shit on defense, call them dirty. Dominant passing game, they're a finesse team, they're soft, they never run the ball. You know, hockey. Why can't you appreciate a physical player and a fucking skill player? For 100 years, there's been room on the ice for both types of players. Now all of a sudden there's not. Why? It's because artificial conditions were created to purposely gatekeep certain types of players out of the game for a generation now. And I don't want to watch guys basically fucking skate around each other like they're skating around pylons at a skills competition during the All-Star game. That's not interesting to me. I don't care about your sick dangle, bruh. I don't give a fuck. Okay, I don't care about your fucking your little kick the puck like you're in the fucking Mighty Ducks movie during a penalty shot. I don't give a fuck. I want to see some hard hitting, teeth spitting, blood on the ice hockey. I want to see men out there playing the game, not a bunch of fucking ballerinas dancing around each other.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
Oh, hi. Okay, guess we should talk about something. Kind of tough to be put on the spot. Not sure what to say. But I know what I'm definitely not talking about. Drivers who switch to Progressive can save big!
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. You went online to switch your car insurance to Progressive so you could save money. But then you saw a friend request from an old summer camp buddy. And now here you are, clicking through photos of his kickball team from 2011. Looks like they won the championship that year. Then he moved to Tulsa. Oh, a new tattoo. Yes, they said it was easy to save hundreds on car insurance with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. National average savings by new customer surveyed who saved in 2019. You heard you could save big when you bundle home and auto with Progressive, so you went online to check it out. But then you saw a link for a survey about which type of bread you are. And now you're on question 17, barely scratching the surface of your bread identity. You always thought of yourself as a brioche, but are you actually more of a pumpernickel? Ah, yes. They said it was easy to save money bundling with Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Bundle discount not available in all states or situations.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Speaking of ballerinas dancing around each other, let's get off hockey and talk about the NFL playoffs.
Yeah.
And let's just kill off the elephant in the room. Yes, Tampa Bay will win, and it's the last win of this year. Well, this season.
Wow.
That's it. They finished one game better than I hoped, 2 games better than I expected them to.
I mean, dude, we never talked about it, man. That Lions game went as expected. Brady put up a whole game's worth of stats in half.
Mm-hmm.
Looking like he's 23 against the Lions.
And I know that earlier this season we all fucking cracked jokes and, Belichick, there you go. Proves Brady's a system quarterback and he needs Belichick's system.
Nope.
Well, the end of the year is here and we can compare the first full season of each player post the other player. Or each person post the other person.
Tom wins.
Tom wins, clearly. Hands down.
It was Tom. We now know.
So, yeah.
Because Cam Newton's a big pile of shit. Like, I've tried to say this to Ice. Like, Cam Newton is still a decent quarterback. He'll be starting somewhere again next season. It won't be New England.
Ice's problem with any player is if he doesn't like something about that player that has nothing to do with how that player plays the game, he automatically calls that player a shit player. And it's like, no. I hated Patrick Waugh. Fuck Patrick Waugh. Fuck anyone who looks like Patrick Waugh. I could barely sit through Braveheart because the guy who played Robert the Bruce looked too much like Patrick Waugh. Okay? However, he's an amazing goalie. I can't take his skill away from him. He's in the conversation of there's him and Martin Brodeur, best goalies ever, end of story. There's only 2 people to talk about. To me, the distant thirds are very distant. Like Hasek's flopping around 2 fucking hockey rings over. You know what I'm saying? Distant.
Yeah.
So, you gotta take it with a grain of salt because Cam Newton. The knock against Cam Newton wasn't that he can't get you to the fucking big game; it's that he can't win the motherfucker, and then he folds under pressure. He's a choke artist. I mean, we all remember the fucking Super Bowl. All he had to do was fall on the ball, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He got too much in his own fucking thought process. Probably he was, I have to make a play, and when you try to force it. Like love and a fart, when you force it, it's going to be shit.
He's a snappy dresser, though. I love seeing him show up on Sundays.
Who was the running back who had it? Clinton Portis. I don't think I've fucking been as amused at a weekly, week in, week out press conference since Clinton Portis put on a different persona every Monday after the game during the press conference. Do you remember that?
That was in my 20s, so a little bit.
So, yeah, it's like a lot of bong resin and malted hops.
I remember
trying to see through this haze.
There's a lot more of my late 20s I remember than my early to mid 20s.
Gotcha. I believe it was Clinton Portis, but yeah, I've loved other press conferences. Beast mode. I'm only here I won't get fined. I ain't about that talk, boss. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I'm here to steer so I won't get fined. Oh, my other favorite one was Mark Ingram last year. Big trust, MVP. You don't believe me? Come find me.
Come see me in BMO.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So, I mean, all right. Tampa. Let's go over starting NFC South because we started with Tampa because I don't want to be accused of being a fucking slappy, but if they lose to Washington,
they won't. It'll be close. It'll be closer than people will think. I'm putting that out there. Ever since I've been using my little stat sheet to pick games, I went 14-2 last week. Like Ice mocks me for the stats. All they are is just how you measure the output of what you've actually done. But
Ice mocks you for stats because Ice used to be the stat guy. He used to quote stats at people, and we'd be like, "And the fuck's that got to do with anything?"
Yeah, but it's. Yeah. I'm just saying it'll be closer than people will think, but Tampa Bay will win this game.
Fair enough.
Like they are both as good or not as good versus teams with winning records.
Well, we're close. I was going to say let's start with the early game on Saturday. We'll end with the late game on Sunday.
Yeah,
Buccaneers are they're the late game. But what they got them? They're all in order except for the Buccaneers-Washington game. Okay, so whatever. Take that back. I mean, on paper, eyeball test, record, stats, gut feeling, whatever you want to fucking go by, Bucs should beat Washington.
They have a far better offense.
And Evans didn't. He's day to day.
It don't matter. They got Godwin. They got AB. I mean, AB fucking picked up the slack for Evans last week. Like I said, they made a loaded offense even more loaded when they added Antonio Brown.
Did you hear the bullshit that people were flipping out about Tom Brady throwing 3 shovel passes to AB
got so he could get bonus.
His fucking yeah? I'm like, every team does that.
Somebody did that to somebody else on Sunday. I was watching Red Zone and they were talking about it. It was fuck. Who was it?
Henry?
It was Emmanuel Sanders. Drew Brees passed it to Emmanuel Sanders like 3 times, and Emmanuel Sanders made like $500,000.
That happens all the time. Why is this now a problem? Is it because it's AB?
Yes, that's exactly why. He's polar. He's the NFL's Donald Trump. He's very
because let me tell you something. If that was Stafford to Megatron, they would both be lauded. I mean, just basically carried on the entire NFL shoulders nationally. Mm-hmm. They'd be like, "Now that's what a teammate does. That's a leader. Takes care of his troops." You know all the cliches we'd have heard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, whatever. Glad you got paid, homeboy. Because obviously you're going to need it because lawyers ain't cheap. And AB, you got a whole lot of fucking in court to go to.
He's been... he settled everything, but
wait, whoa. All that sexual assault bullshit is settled?
Well, it's in stasis. It hasn't gone any further.
Yeah, I know. But it also took, Bill Cosby, 5 years to go to trial. But his ass is still sitting in prison once he went to trial. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he can put it off, but he's probably burning more money putting it off by
I think he's
on lawyers and just settling with the fucking people.
think he's been deposed already. I don't know. Who knows? But I will hand it to him. He's kept his nose clean since he's been on the team because Bruce Arians publicly said a few months ago he had no interest in the guy, and all of a sudden he's on the team. So I think AB knew shut up, play football.
I haven't been able to talk about Bruce Arians as much as I wished I had this season. So I'm just going to try to sum it up as quickly as possible. Homeboy is in charge, and he's going to let everybody know it. And that's all there is to that. I didn't realize that about him. I did not realize he was like, I'm the BMOC, and the rest of y'all are just here to listen to what I got to fucking say. That is the back channel and the rumors of problems between him and Tom Brady, and him coming out going, no, he played like shit. There's not a problem. He did not care. I don't give a shit if that's the greatest of all time. The greatest of all time just lost us the game.
Yeah.
I mean, he calling a spade. You fuck up, you're called out. This is not a Jimmy Johnson, his superstars are protected type of head coach. And you know what? I like a head coach like that.
Yeah.
It keeps everybody honest.
The thing I'd be worried about if I'm the Bucs is that fucking defense, man. Washington's got themselves a defense. It's only going to get better. Chase Young definitely is in the Roy conversation.
I was going to say, I think the last time the Bucs were in the playoffs, I was going to say they lost to Washington, but no, that was in 2006. The last time they were in the playoffs, they lost to the Giants in the first round. On the way to the Giants doing 18-1 to the mighty Patriots. So I don't know, man. I mean, it's a completely different fucking team. There's nobody there that was there from that point. But I just haven't been like, wow, we are steamrolling motherfuckers this season. As a Bucs fan, I've never felt like that. Well, I felt like that. I've had moments of feeling like that during a game, but I don't feel like that week to week, moment to moment as a fan.
You didn't play anybody. That's your dirty little secret.
There's that too.
Only 5 of your games were against teams above 500 when it all shook out by the end of the season.
I mean, so there you go.
I mean, now, the other part of that argument is you did what you were supposed to do against the turds. You won all those games.
Well, I mean, I don't know how old of a mindset this is, but I do remember quite a few years ago watching like NFL pregame shit, and one of the gray-beard former head coaches, I can't remember which one, was like, the goal for every NFL team is to win the Super Bowl. Then it is to win every game, but the realistic goal, win all your home games and beat the people in your division. Win all your home games and win half your road games, and try to beat everyone in your division first, so you get the tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Yeah.
That if you can do that, you're going 12-4. You're in the playoffs. Now, what you do once you get there, that's a different story. But
I mean, Washington's an under 500 team, but it should be open and shut for the Bucs.
Why do I get the feeling it ain't going to be this? We ain't going to be reminiscing about this game next episode, and it ain't going to be as like, well, that was an easy victory for the Bucs. I'm with you. I don't know if it's going to be like tight down to the wire, nail biting, but I'm probably going to have a puckered asshole a few times in the fourth quarter watching that game. Like, okay, all right, okay, it's a little too close. Somebody hit somebody.
Yeah.
You understand that the game, you play to win the game.
Yes.
But
what's the
all
next?
right, so the early game Saturday is Colts at Bills.
This is going to be, I don't know which one's going to be better. This one, the Rams or the Seahawks, or the Steelers and the Browns. I don't know, they're all going to be good. The only two I think are going to be turds are Tampa Bay and Washington. I think Tampa Bay is probably going to handle them. And then I think the Saints are going to stomp the Bears. I think all of these are going to be really good games, but this one's going to be one of the best.
Well, Pro Football Talk agrees with you. They ended the season with Bills number 1 in the power rankings going into the playoffs.
Yeah.
And I'm willing to bet that the metric they use is the metric you used, or at least it factored heavily into they're putting them at number 1. So what is it? Boil it down, explain it to the listeners and boil it down to its most basic idea if you can.
Well, they've had a strong schedule, and they are good against 500 or above 500 teams.
No, I'm just talking about your theory, not what they've done, but your so you look at a team and you see who they've won against. If they won against teams with winning records.
Who are you beating?
Yes. I don't want to hear about you whooping on the Jets or Jacksonville.
Which, by the way, I bagged on the Steelers. They ended up finishing strong. The last part of their schedule, their 11-0 was cream puff. Their last month wasn't so cream puff.
Well, I'll say this: I know a few Steeler fans who probably have the edge of their seat halfway up their ass in anticipation for this game because they don't want to lose to the Browns. And they don't want to lose in the first round.
Ben's going to play. They'll be fine.
You've kind of sold me on the Bills, man, because I did my homework.
Dude.
And I was like, that's...
Why is everyone talking about Aaron Rodgers for MVP and no one's talking about Josh Allen? Dude, my man, he could ball out. Besides, he could just air it out. You know why the Bills don't have a run game? Because he's the best running back on that team. He's to the Bills like Lamar is to the Ravens. There's no run game in Baltimore because Lamar is the fucking guy. Just keep an eye on the Bills, everybody. Everyone's all riding Kansas City's dick. Meanwhile, all Buffalo's been doing is beating quality opponents all season long. That being said, they did lose to Kansas City.
Well, let's say the Bills win, Colts get bounced. There's a lot of talk here locally about what's going to happen with Matthew Stafford. And one of the teams that they said they could see, that a lot of the so-called experts said they could see Stafford maybe going to is one of them being It's top of the list is the Colts, which makes me go, what the fuck are they going to do with Phillip Rivers? Is he planning on retiring at the end of this season and we just don't know about it?
No, he'll go somewhere else on a 1-year deal.
Is he on a 1-year deal with the Colts?
I think he's on a 2-year deal.
Well, I mean, if they traded for, because they went down a list of, quarterbacks who've been traded in the last 10 years and what they got for them. It was like Cutler, Dalton, and one other, I can't remember. But they all got multiple draft picks, and all of them were traded not only for multiple draft picks, but one of them were a first-round draft pick. And I'm like, you think the Colts going to give that up for Matthew Stafford? That's the missing piece for him?
Hey, if you find someone to pay it, go for it. I am a fan. I mean, I've said it in our chat 100 times. Blow the whole thing up now. Like, this is like buying a house and knock it down while you're putting in a new GM, while you're putting in a new head coach. It is time to move on from Matt Stafford. All right, it's been a decade of him. He's peaked. Get rid of him while you can. Get rid of him before he's old and busted, and you can't. Get rid of him before he turns into fucking Miguel Cabrera.
Well, I'll just put it this way. The reason I brought it up is because I don't think the Colts are getting out of the first round, which puts them in a more desperate situation. And we really have kind of not talked about the Detroit Lions. And I think it's amazing how many people outside of Detroit don't realize how well respected around the league Matthew Stafford is. Most of the hatred for Stafford comes from Detroit, from Lions fans. Like, you go out and they call him an elite quarterback on fucking NFL Network.
Why? What
Fox,
has he won?
Big arm, can put up the stats, give him the right weapon. All the same shit over and over and over.
The stat that matters most, the W. That is the number one. We've talked about. We said that 1,000,000 times on this show. It's hyperbole, but that is the stat that matters the most. Is the W. Everything else is fucking second, third.
Everything else you can wait until your fucking career's over and go, now I'll worry about my legacy and whether I make the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
The only stat I care about is winning the last game of the season and playing in it and it being a Super Bowl. When I'm playing, that's all, or lifting the cup at the end of the year or the World Series trophy or whatever may have you. I want a team full of motherfuckers that's the only stat they care about why they play. When they're done, that's when they can sit back and go, wow, look at all the fucking big stats I put up. So that was something.
All Matt Stafford has shown me is he can get you to the playoffs and then he'll choke. He gets to the playoffs and he performs like shit.
Well, I mean, the fact that Andy Dalton and Jay Cutler were traded in the last 10 years, 10 seasons, and they got first-round picks for both those guys? Cutler?
Yeah.
Mr. I smoke a cigarette while I'm on the field?
It's one of the best memes of all time.
So, yeah. Hey, man, you never know what teams are... You never know what teams are going to do. I mean,
he's like a stock right now. Sell high.
I think he should have sold before the beginning of last season.
I think he should have sold 2-3 years ago. But
well, yeah, that's what. But I mean,
that big giant contract should have been with another team. But that's just me.
Well, I mean, he's had in the last 3 seasons, he's broke his back twice.
That's what I'm saying. Before he turns into Miguel Cabrera, fucking get rid of him.
Yeah, he's showing to be injury prone. Yes, he's only 32. Okay, yeah, and 20 years ago that was old for a quarterback, but you got fucking quarterbacks playing into their late 30s. Like, it ain't shit these days. And if he goes somewhere and for whatever reason goes someplace where there's like a standing right ready to retire after this season quarterback, and he has to ride the bench, collect that paycheck and ride that bench. They just extended your career a year probably.
Yeah.
Believe me, I've seen his wife. She ain't going to have a hard time spending his money. Make as much of it as you can while you can, homeboy.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out there.
It's got all them kids now.
Uh-huh. All right, so the 4 o'clock game. We pretty much covered the Colts and Bills. And Stafford talk. Because none of the rest of these teams are in the conversation for trading for Stafford. So I saw a chance to shoehorn that in there. So I pulled an ice. I verbally date raped this into the conversation.
Hey, it was related. Ice will pull you into shit that has nothing to do with it.
All right, so Bears at Saints. This is a joke, right?
Yeah, I mean, Bears, you backed into the playoffs. This is where it ends.
They were talking on ESPN radio, and Sean Payton came out and said that he wondered. I don't know if he was just wondering out loud to a journalist or if this is a real idea he had. But he was wondering if there was 50,000 Saint fans that'd be willing to quarantine for 10 days. So at the end of those 10 days, they can come to a Saints playoff game and give the Saints a home field advantage. And I'm just thinking, well, don't do it the first round.
Yeah,
that's a waste of 50,000 people.
You don't need a home advantage for this. They're going to smoke them.
Yeah, I'm like, he's got to be looking towards, the next round, right? Like, he can't be thinking that they're...
God, I wish ice was on. Old and busted, huh? He's going to the playoffs again.
Well, I mean, dude, we all are guilty of it to a certain extent. How many times have we sat here and been like, well, that's it for the Steelers?
Yeah.
We kept saying this entire season, they ain't played anybody. That's true. But they're still winning when they're supposed to.
Yeah.
They might be a paper tiger in the playoffs, but they're still in the playoffs. And trust me, as a Tampa Bay fan who hadn't been in the playoffs since 2007, it feels good to go to the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's kind of like, Full Metal Jacket.
Yeah,
there's two types of people. There's the good and the dead. The dead know that they live in a world of shit because they're dead,
Yeah, and speaking of the dead, that's going to be the Bears. Like, I think this is going to be the most lopsided victory of the wild card round. I think the Bears are going to get smoked like a Christmas ham. Like a joint at a fucking reggae concert.
I guess this is a fucking hot take or bold prediction. I don't see any NFC North team getting it past their first game this season.
Nope.
I just don't.
Yeah, we'll talk about that next time. You talk about soft schedules and get into the pack. One of the softest schedules.
Yeah. I mean, the Saints should handily win this game, right? The only thing I can think of is that I really hope if Sean Payton was just spitballing to a fucking, like a journalist, that he said that in a joking, I don't even know if it's going to matter if he said it in a joking manner, but that he truly said it in a joking manner because it's still the NFL. You don't give the other team bulletin board material.
Yeah.
You just don't do it, man.
But there's no way that, especially there's talk now Michael Thomas might play. There's no way you're telling me that Chicago offense is better than that Saints offense. Especially Alvin Kamara, 6 fucking touchdowns on Christmas.
Bad. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Kamara, and if Thomas comes back, it's a wrap. Bears, sorry. Mitch Trubisky ain't getting it done against Drew Brees. He's just not. And that Bears defense isn't what it was last season.
Yes, this is not as Earl kept calling them last year, monsters of the Midway this season.
No.
All right, so we pretty much got that one in the bag.
Yep.
Moving on to Sunday. Sunday. 1 o'clock, 1:05 game, Ravens at Titans.
Ooh, this is a good game.
I'm going to let you pick first because
it's the same team playing each other statistically.
My pick's going to break my heart.
I'm going with Tennessee, man. That offense is better, I think.
I've said it on the show before. The Ravens are my AFC team. I'd never root for the Ravens over the Bucs. But if the Ravens play anyone else but the Bucs and them winning doesn't affect the Bucs, hey, I'll root for the Ravens. I don't think they're winning this game. I just don't.
I mean, they got A.J. Brown. If A.J. Brown's covered, they got Corey Davis. They got Derek fucking Henry. Jesus Christ.
That is a eat the clock Pac-Man motherfucker.
Yeah.
That is what. Give him the ball. I saw a meme, and it had a Madden play. It was a goal line stand, and it was just hand the ball, and he just ran between the guard and fucking center. It said Derek Henry's favorite play. It's like it's the truth. Because that motherfucker ain't finessing and dancing around out there. He's just running through people and shit. I mean, wasn't he the one that gave that fucking stiff arm that was like, shit, they stiff armed the soul out of that motherfucker.
Absolutely.
You saw his soul leave his body. I mean, between that and just you don't need an elite defense, just a stout defense. You can keep someone like Lamar Jackson and offense on the bench. and take the game that he wants to play out of his hands and dictate not only the tempo, but what type of game he has to play. Because if they can run the ball and eat the clock and get up 2 scores, Jackson, yeah, he can run it, but he's going to have to start airing it out. And I think this season he tried to be more of a pocket passer, and that's why he's not having an MVP season.
Yeah, all Ryan Tannehill's done is throw for 3,800 yards this year. That's it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like this ain't the Lamar last year. J.K. Dobbins is just now coming on. He'll be a thing next year. Mark Andrews not having the season he was. I see Tennessee winning this game. They could talk all the revenge games they want. Revenge for last year. I just see Tennessee winning this game, man.
I'm with you. It breaks my heart to say it, but I am. I don't. I had my doubts about the Ravens even making the playoffs, to be honest with you.
They needed help.
Mm-hmm. But I'm talking about early in the season.
Yeah.
I know that people they had so much momentum from last year. Of all sports, I kind of think an off-season in football kills your momentum the most. I truly do.
And this year they had some momentum stifled a little bit because there's no preseason. Let's be honest, September was the preseason this year.
And we saw the injuries prove it. The lack of guys being warmed into a full-time starting position over 4 weeks.
There was no substitute for getting hit.
No substitute for contact. It's a trope, and it's a cliche, but it's both of those things for a reason.
Yeah.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile, we're extra ready for whatever comes our way and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charged coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer. New Extra Charge Hot and Iced Coffee from Dunkin' is made with 20% extra caffeine from green coffee extract, because we could all use a little extra this year. Whether that's an extra boost, some extra boldness, or the drive to go the extra mile, we're extra ready for whatever comes our way and extra excited to take it on. Let's get it done with a medium extra charged coffee from Dunkin' for $2 with 20% more caffeine. And pair it with snackable stuffed bagel minis for an added all-day boost. Order ahead on the Dunkin' app. America runs on Dunkin'. Participation may vary. Limited time offer.
Nya nya nya. Ba. Ba. Babue. Zimbabwe. The broken Bunsen burner burns so bright. Southeast Asian Peninsula.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
I think the only line we need from you today is drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Cool. I just gotta finish my warm-ups. Foul, throw in the towel. History.
Switch to Progressive today.
Santa ski slalom in a salmon skin suit.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
Okay. Rams and Seahawks.
It's going to be a good game, but Seattle's going to win it. Rams have had a stronger schedule, but only by a game. And just Russ. It's going to be Russ versus the AAF guy if Goff can't go. I mean, they got DK Metcalf, they got Tyler Lockett, they got Chris Carson. Rams backfield is backfield by commit. Well, right now Rams backfield is whoever's fucking healthy.
Yeah.
And yeah, just Seattle. Seattle wins this game, I think.
Yeah, gun to my head, give me Seattle. But to be honest with you, out of all the games this weekend, these are the two teams that are playing that I've seen the least games of. So I can't even get an eyeball test feel for. You know what I'm saying?
Seattle started strong and kind of whimpered out at the end. And the Rams did the opposite. The Rams kind of whimpered into the beginning of the season and finished strong.
And what? LA's had two football teams for 2 seasons now?
Mm-hmm. They're about to have 2 good football teams next year.
I was about to say, and they're looking like they could actually have both those teams in the playoffs next year.
I think the Chargers' problem was the coach, and they got rid of him.
Well, damn sure wasn't Herbert. That motherfucker, he plays like he's got enough, all the guts in the world, plus some.
Yeah. Chargers going to be fine. We're going to be talking about the Chargers next year in the playoffs.
All right, and late 8:15 game. Browns and Steelers.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be a good one again. But this doesn't play out like last week because Pittsburgh doesn't send in the B team. Pittsburgh wins this game. Sorry, Cleveland fans.
Well, Cleveland has a long and well-documented history of disappointment in sports. And it's always the something, the drive, the fumble, the move, the decision. Well, this is about to be the positives because aren't they getting ravaged with COVID going into this fucking game?
They were. Their coach has it.
Okay. But now couple that with 2 players getting caught drag racing.
Yeah.
Okay. And this has got all the makings of...
Oops.
That I'm just waiting for the picture of Odell on a boat with all the rest of the fucking Browns players, like there was with that fucking Giants picture a couple of years back. Just like, are you guys' head even in the fact that you're entering the playoffs? Because it doesn't sound like it. Like, dude, you got players out there drag racing each other to the point of getting caught. You're professional athletes. Like, you can't rent a fucking racetrack for a day. Like, hey, how about this? How about just on the team's private property? There's not a quarter mile stretch where you could line up 2 cars and let them race each other? Really? You got to go on public streets? I've never really bought into that Browns team. That seemed like the Browns and the Buccaneers, it seemed like they were trying to build the team around Brady the best they could, also keeping their already, very good receiving core, but adding to it. The Browns seemed like they were just taking everybody's cast off, and this fucking quarterback who's still, you sold on Baker Mayfield?
No.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, I have no strong feelings about him one way or the other. I like the guy. He seems to be a cool guy as just, in like a human being, but as a elite, I want him on my team quarterback. I can pick. There's a lot more guys I'd pick before him.
Yeah, I like his fucking commercials. They're funny.
So yeah, I don't have much faith in this Browns team. Let's put it this way: if the Browns were playing Washington and Buccaneers were playing Steelers, I'd say the Buccaneers are going to lose and the Browns are barely going to win against Washington. That's how I would call it. So it's. I guess I'm equating the Browns to the Buccaneers this year. I don't know. I don't know if that's. I shouldn't do that, but I just am, and it just feels like the Buccaneers congealed a little bit better together, whereas the Browns just like, hey, we're an island of misfit toys, and we're going to act like it.
No, I will give you this. The Browns have the recipe to beat the Steelers, because I'm looking at defensive stats here. Steelers, 3rd best team against the pass this year, so you're not getting it done in the air, but against the run, they are fucking. They're like 12th. Like they're allowing like 111 yards a game rushing, 112. So, if you can hear me, Kevin Stefanski. Some asshole in the basement in Detroit. But yeah, it's this. All I'm thinking is like they're going to run into the defense with Pittsburgh. So,
well, hey, look, it's set up for ultimate disappointment for Pittsburgh or Cleveland, one way or the other, because Steelers fans hate Browns fans and vice versa. That's all there is to it. I think Steelers fans hate the Browns fans more than Steelers fans hate the Eagles fans. That's saying something.
Wow.
Because that's interstate hatred.
Well, Pittsburgh and Cleveland are relatively close, and they share some fan base and a division.
Yeah, familiarity breeds contempt. So yeah.
But
all right, so we're pretty much in lockstep here, except for no, we're in lockstep. We agree on everything here. Because I was about to say I did ultimately, gun to my head, pick the Buccaneers to win, but I don't think it's going to be a blowout. But like I said, I don't think it's going to be a nail biter either. That'd be the one if I'm wrong about. I think if I'm wrong about one of these games, I think that's the one I'm going to be the most wrong about.
No, because even more, I read yesterday Rivera was talking about he might have to rotate quarterbacks because Smith's got something going on with his calf. Like he wasn't at 100% for that Sunday night game, but he had to play because it was to clinch the playoffs.
Oh, see, you keep saying shit like this, and then I think about Ron Rivera beat cancer. He was getting IVs at halftime during games this season, and getting treatments like in his office while fucking drawing up plays for the next game. And they got a quarterback who damn near died. Then he damn near lost his leg. Now he's come back. It's like this is setting up to be like if they beat the Buccaneers and then beat whoever they play in the next round, you're still going to start hearing Team of Destiny shit about this team. And it's just like, it's too good of a fucking stuff. Of course they're going to.
They don't have the offense to be a Team of Destiny. They got one good receiver. Their running game fucking sucks. And they have no tight end of note. There's... to Judge McCall, I'm making it. They don't have the ingredients for Team of Destiny.
Well, I'm just saying, if in 15, 20 years, Disney's going to make a movie about the Washington football team's inaugural season as the Washington football team, I hope that the happy note they end on was the fact they made the playoffs. And then they just cut to black and go, unfortunately, they lost in the first round of the Buccaneers. But, you know what I'm saying?
Like, the Bears have more ingredients for a Team of Destiny than the fucking Redskins do. Oh, the football team. Oh, I dead named him. Oh, canceled. Yeah, I mean, the Bears at least got a receiver. They got the ghost of, Jimmy Graham's actually been decent this year, and they got that Cole Kmet guy at tight end. They got David Montgomery. You know, if they got the world beater Nick Foles waiting in the wings. Like the Bears got more of a Team of Destiny ingredients than the football team does. But that's just my opinion.
All right, so we've covered the games. Now, if you're just here to hear that, you might want to skip this little last bit because I feel like we do need to talk about it. But I really wanted to back end it just in case people are like, I don't give a fuck about the Lions and their GM and head coaching situation. Then I guess here's where you can cut the podcast off.
Yeah, see you next time.
Because I got to bring it up because it's such a clusterfuck here in Detroit. And I don't see them doing anything different first for us. Yeah, like I'm a Lions fan. No, okay, fuck that. For this city not to be in the same position about how they feel about the Lions in another 4 years than they do now. Because have you heard what the fuck is going on?
Oh, boy. No. Here we go.
As of this morning, now this is all coming out of Allen Park, anonymous sources, take with a grain of salt. But these are legitimate sports journalists reporting this. Reports coming out of Allen Park is that the Lions like 3 possible head coaching options. And I'm like, okay. And now I hear that and I think, okay, and their phone lines blow up, and everybody starts calling, yeah, let's get what's his name? Chalet or Chalet?
Robert. It's because he's from here. That's all. That's the only reason people want him here, because he's from here.
But he's out in San Francisco. They want him. And then, one of the other ones they're looking at is his name was brought up today. It's the only reason I'm bringing it up, Harbaugh, which I'm like, that's a lateral choice. Move.
Yeah.
That's Harbaugh can't do that.
That's Harbaugh doesn't even have to sell his house. He just takes a different way off. He goes east on 94 instead of west.
Yeah, pretty much. Shit, I can't remember the third coach off the top of my head. My point being was,
enemy or Marvin Lewis.
Marvin Lewis.
Because I fucking lived here too long. I followed this team for too long. That's who's going to be the Lions coach. That's not who should be the coach. I'm telling you, that's who's going to be the coach. Marvin Lewis is going to be the Lions coach.
Here's my problem. Why am I hearing about who they're interviewing for a head coach before they've hired a general manager?
Right.
This is the problem we get into here in Detroit with this fucking team. They fire a general manager. They hire a new general manager. They tell them, you have to live with the coach you got. But I want to come in and fucking bring my own people in. Oh, well, you have to live with them.
If you want to rebuild a culture, you rebuild it from the top down. You don't put a guy in the middle and then put a guy on the top and go, hey, fix it.
Okay, they bring in Chris Spielman as some sort of,
he's an assistant
to the president of football operations.
Yeah, I heard an interview with him. He was offered the GM job and he turned it down because he said, I don't know how to be a good GM. I wouldn't be a good GM. He said that would that would do everyone a disservice. So it was offered to him.
Well, I mean, he also buried a wife, and he has kids. And I think they were rather young. I mean, even if he's remarried, there's a big difference between spending 3 days a week away, 17 weeks out of the year plus playoffs to do announcing, and being the general manager of a football team and putting in 15, 16-hour days.
Well, he did say
365 days a year.
He's now at the time in his life where he can take a job like this, because he still said it. He still said it is going to be hours like that. But he simply said he doesn't know how to be a GM. He said, I'd be learning on the job, and it wouldn't be fair. It was a really good interview.
Not fair, not good. Good for him.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I want to hear.
Which I heard that, and I had hope. Like, oh man, why can't you be in charge?
I know, right? Once again, the people who I want to run shit don't want to run shit because they realize I might fuck up. And it's like, yeah, but the people who we know are fuck ups are so sure that they're so great, they fuck everything up and they keep doing it. Sorry, I didn't mean to get political. Anyways, it works both ways.
Right.
Politics and sports. I want to hear, this is the GM we hired. We haven't even interviewed a head coach. Why? Because our GM picks the head coach, not the fucking owner, not whatever the fuck her name is or her husband. We sit at the top. We're the owners. We hire a president of football operations. We consult with them. They hire a GM, or we hire the GM. GM hires his head coach. Coach installs his coaching staff, and so on and so forth. Why is it so hard for the fucking Lions to do this? I mean, they blow up teams. They bring in fucking Matt Millen. Tell him, well, you got Martin Morningweg. He didn't want Morningweg, did he? He wanted Mariucci. That was his first big hire. That's what he went out and got. Am I correct?
Oh, Marty. Yeah.
I mean, so
taking the wind.
And on top of that, Millen, didn't he play out in San Francisco? I'm tired of that too. I don't want a fucking former player, GM, coach, president of football operations, whatever, who only wants to deal with his former team, which is what we had a problem with Patricia here in Detroit, bringing in these fucking cast-offs from New England. What are you doing?
Well, it sounds like you and I might be on the same page. I bitched about it with Ice. I'm tired of us being the place where someone gets their first shot at something. Let's get somebody established in here. Yeah, we had Bobby Ross. Yeah, we had Mooch. Yeah, we had Jim Caldwell, but that's it. Those are 3 coaches out of the dozens that we've seen in our lifetime. And and there's this trend of the last 15 years, Caldwell excluded, where we're giving someone their first, Mooch too, where they're giving someone their first fucking shot. Stop it. Let's get somebody established. Same thing with the general managers. Stop. Matt Millen, it was giving him his first shot. Martin Mayhew was giving him a shot because he did his time under Millen. Fucking was what's his nuts? Quinn. Was he a GM before he was a GM here?
I think he was assistant to the GM in New England.
Yeah, so it was giving another guy his first shot. That's half the damn problem.
Well, it's not just that. It's just this fucking. You have to bring in people who understand the NFL, and it speaks to what you're saying. Isn't 3 yards in a cloud of dust anymore, but you also ain't going to find a new hotness without taking a huge risk, high risk, high reward situation. And if you're trying to just build a competent culture around a team, technically the team right now is in a great position to do so if they don't fuck it up. Because Sheila Hemp or whatever her name is, Ford Hemp or whatever the fuck, technically kind of like a new owner. Yes, I understand. She's still in the Ford family, but she's not Martha and she's not Bill Ford Jr., okay? I mean, that was pretty much who we heard about as the owners around here. So we got younger, fresher blood in calling the shots at the top of the pyramid. Replace everybody. Like you said, blow it up from the top down as far as you can. Get rid of fucking Stafford. He's a $19 million cap hit next season. He's a $10 million cap hit this season, I think. If you trade him, and Detroit is in a bad situation with their cap space coming up here if they don't get this Stafford contract off the books. So, I mean, what are you going to do? You're going to have to do what every other fucking team is starting to do. Draft your quarterback And you better hope you start winning on that rookie contract, like winning immediately. You ain't got time to sit him down for 2-3 years behind Stafford and hope he absorbs shit and comes out like Aaron Rodgers, like gangbusters. I mean, let's be honest here. You couldn't even do that with this franchise. The Niners, the Packers of the late 2000s, when Rodgers took over, the season Rodgers took over, that's a better team than Detroit's ever had with Stafford under center. I mean,
absolutely. Yeah, no, that was a playoff team.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I mean, like you're putting, you have a machine that works, and you're taking one cog out, and you're taking the cog that you've beat into the shape of the cog you're taking out. So look, Rodgers, this is the system. This is the way we do it. You're sitting behind the best to ever do it here at Green Bay. Plug in. Hey, look. 2 years later, Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? That's not Detroit. You need to blow it the fuck up. All right? I mean, Prater, hey, thanks for kicking a lot of 50-yard plus field goals. See ya. I mean, just get rid of it. Because from that Lions team, the last Lions teams that made the playoff, there's 3 players. The long snapper, who I can't remember his name because no one knows the long snapper's name, Matthew Stafford, and the punter, forget his name.
Sam,
but anyway,
something.
But anyways, yeah. So it's not that hard to blow it up and get rid of the old mindset. I mean, what do they think they're going to do? Hire a head coach, hire a GM, and go, we have all the trust in the world in you as a general manager, except when it comes to hiring the head coach. Then we don't trust you. We're already starting off on the wrong foot.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry. I know you. There's some people in the younger generations that don't like to talk about history, but history will show you what not to do. And the Lions have done this multiple times in the last couple decades, and it has not worked at all. And I don't know if it's ever worked. Has there ever been a GM that just walks in and basically inherits? I mean, outside of a GM dying and his assistant taking over for him, like they fire a GM and just hire a GM and it goes, nope, you got to play with all the old GMs guys. I don't think anyone inside the Lions have ever done that, have they?
I mean, I'm sure somebody has.
I mean, in modern day. Let's keep it in the last 25, 30 years. Since 90. I mean, I don't know what they did in the 50s and 60s. Seems like the owners, well, yeah, I take it, I just...
Sounds like maybe a Cleveland move.
I'm thinking more of a control freak owner. So it sounds like more of a Jerry Jones or Al Davis move.
Oh, fuck yeah. Jerry just did it with, what's his nuts? Not a GM, but he did it with coaches, with McCarthy and Garrett.
Well, let's be honest. The most useless position in all of football is general manager of the Dallas Cowboys.
Or head coach.
Well, Jerry's getting old. He can't run from the owner's box down to the sideline as quick as he used to.
Yeah.
And I don't think the NFL is going to let him have a headset if he's not on the coaching squad. So it's like, like, dude, why do you even have a GM? That's just drop the pretense. Just call yourself president of football operations / GM. You own the team.
Act like it anyway.
Yeah, I mean, if you really wanted to, you own a team. You could go out there and fucking suit up and try to kick a 50-yard field goal if you wanted. No one could do nothing about it.
He's the one that does radio interviews, and they ask him questions they should be asking the GM. So, yeah.
Yeah, and that was Al Davis' shtick, too. So, I don't know, man. Detroit fans, I feel for you. I really do, because...
Don't feel for us.
No,
if
dude,
we're still cheering for him at this point, that's our fault. I told you, I haven't watched... I'm now in my second season. I have not watched a Lions game. If they show up on Red Zone, I see them.
I've watched one full Lions game in the last 2 seasons. And that means I put the game on it and I didn't switch back, like during commercials, to Red Zone. And then, sometimes get stuck watching Red Zone and be like, oh shit, and go back to the game. Nope, just put it on and leave it. One game.
I will watch other teams' full games on Thursday and Sunday night. I won't watch my own home team's games. That should tell you something.
I know, man, but what this franchise also needs is that was a bullshit call this last game. I know ultimately it helped the Lions in the draft positioning, but man,
that roughing. I'm using air quotes. That roughing the passer call.
Yeah. That would have been the perfect time for Sheila Ford to come out and be like, that's horse shit. That's a bullshit call. And I don't care what used to happen with my mother my father, my great uncle, my grand, whoever the fuck used to be standing here. I'm standing here now. Hey, NFL, find me. My last name's Ford. You ain't got enough fucking fines.
There was a lot of iffiness
cry
this weekend too. Did you see the Cowboys game? Where dude sat on the ball and they called it a fumble recovery. Like the Cowboys got jobbed.
Oh yeah.
The Cowboys could have won that game.
Yeah. The guy from fucking Giants. I forget his name.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did see the highlights. I didn't see the game. But once again, okay, there you go. All right, as much as America's team's fans bitch about calls not going their way, Dallas gets some calls that favor home cooking, and Dallas also has an owner that ain't shy about throwing the NFL and its officiating under the bus.
I'm saying I think the ref in that game was a Washington fan. That's all I'm saying.
Well, look, man, there needs to be this. Well, that's just how the ball happens. It's a game of inches any given Sunday. Aw shucks. This aw shucks bullshit attitude, cavalier attitude about getting fucked over has not worked for you as a franchise. It's never worked for you as a franchise. Even before I was watching pro football, I used to listen to Lions fans bitch about getting fucked over. It's a problem. You need, even if it's just a perception problem, I think it would have done a lot of good for the people in this franchise and the fan base if she'd have come out and fucking just took the refs to task and the NFL for allowing that shit to happen. Because ultimately, that's who hired these people. I'm just saying, you need to build on something. Because what is the Lions' identity besides perennial losers? They're not even lovable losers. They're not the Cubs. They're not Boston. These aren't heartbreaking, rip your fucking soul from your body losses that they're experiencing. They've never been one goal line stance away from winning a Super Bowl. Yet Boston was 1 out away from winning a World Series and choked it away, and then choked away a Game 7 to lose it all together. I mean, like, you guys don't even have that to hang your hat on as fans. Like, it is. I think the worst thing that happened for the Lions, to be honest with you, is the NFL getting so hot to trot about sending a team over to Europe. And here's why I say that. If Jacksonville's got the first pick, if they pick fucking, Trevor Lawrence?
Oh, he declared today. It's a done deal.
Yeah, so he might as well just fucking go out and get fitted for his fucking Jacksonville jersey.
Might as well start looking at places in Florida, buddy.
Yep. If he is half as good as the predictions are calling him, Jacksonville ain't going anywhere. They're going to have a fan base. Trust me, I spent almost a third of my childhood in Florida, and I've spent quite a bit of my adulthood in Florida. Lived there, went to school there, went to college there. That is a football state. They love their football.
Sporgy.
ChristopherMedia.net.
And now a game of Commercial Chicken, brought to you by Progressive, where we see how long Flo can go without talking about insurance. Ready? Go.
So, have you noticed how everyone's grammar is completely awful now? Like, the texting and the LOLs. Whatever happened to punctuation? I mean, drivers who switch to Progressive could save big.
Okay, you win. We can't help but save customers money. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Bodega, Alpha and Omega. Siamese sailors sell celery sandwiches. Sawing-a-bada, serving platter.
Hey, Jamie?
Yes?
Did you want to try reading that line on the script there?
Oh, yeah, let's see. You could save big when you bundle your home and auto with Progressive, that one?
Yes.
Yeah, no, I'm just not warmed up yet. Shouldn't be long. Detector test.
Bundle your home and auto with Progressive today.
The marmot mangled my mushy pork pancake.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
What do you want to da-da-da? What do you want to da-da-da? I have no idea what to da-da-da. We could switch to Progressive da. Oh, yeah? We could switch to Progressive and sa. Okay. We could sa and have to buy some za. Oh, yeah. Let's switch to Progressive da and get some za with the money we saw. Yeah. Now we know we're gonna da-da-da.
These days, nothing is normal and everything is weird. But you could still save big when you switch to Progressive. It might just be the most normal thing you da-da-da.
Quote to da at Progressive.com.
Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
ChristopherMedia.net.
Sporgy.
And Jacksonville's the odds-on favorite to get Uncle Urban.
Because, and this goes back to the Lions conversation. If I'm Uncle Urban, I'm old. I'm not looking to rebuild a franchise. In fact, I ain't looking to rebuild shit. I've proven that you can hand me the keys to a Porsche and I won't wreck it. Give me that franchise a couple years out of the playoffs with the first round pick. That's the one I want. That's the one that's got the biggest upside.
That's exactly what they are.
You know, I mean, maybe the Chargers? But once again, young quarterback. You can see the raw talent there. They just need the craftsmen to sharpen their fucking edges, to hone the blade. You're not going to come to the Lions and start and blow it up and do a rebuild from the top down. Why would he? You know how many years he'd be here before he could even start seeing dividends off of that?
Yeah, we need a young guy.
And you need to stop this we're looking for John Gruden, super coach, who's here, who leaves at 11 and shows up at 2:30 in the morning. You know, rumor is he sleeps hanging upside down, wrapped in a cocoon of his own wings for 3 hours a night. You know, it's like, no, get a coach who's good at handling players in the locker room. Coaching trees and coaching staffs have become so specialized and compartmentalized. You don't have to have your fingers in every single fucking piece of the pie and be a head coach anymore. That's the old school coaching mentality. I think they need to find a young but not freshman coach. You know what I'm saying? And as I'm talking, I'm just thinking, what's the most Lions move to do? Let's just go fucking call Jim Harbaugh. Let's just call Harbaugh.
Marvin Lewis.
Aged. That's the only thing I'm thinking.
Guy who went to the playoffs a bunch of times but never won. That is the Lions move.
If he was younger, I'd give it to you. I think he's too old. What is he? Jesus Christ! How long was he with fucking Cincinnati?
Like a decade,
at least. I swear it felt like 15 years. Wasn't he with Cincinnati when Cowher won the Super Bowl with the Steelers?
Yeah, I think that was it was like his first season-ish.
And he went to the playoffs and lost against Steelers that season.
Because he's the guy who picked Carson Palmer, and then after Palmer went, he picked up the Red Rocket.
Carson Palmer, not Dalton. Carson Palmer. That's who else in it. I was talking earlier about quarterbacks that got traded for first-round picks, that I'm like, so we give a first-round pick for these guys? Why? I said Dalton. I meant Palmer. So, yeah. And, well, yeah, maybe you're right. And they'll just keep Stafford, because Palmer and Stafford, they kind of been having the same type of career, right? Like, they're good enough to be starting quarterbacks in the NFL, but they're not fucking elite. They haven't won anything.
They were just on shit teams. Now, the things I read about Marvin Lewis is they were saying he is the best coach out there to pick up the ashes of what Patricia built here and do something with them, because he's defensive-minded.
What the fuck has Patricia built? The one part of this team that has no identity is the defense.
Ironically,
this is a fucking. I'm with the guys. I'm with Carson Anderson on this. No more fucking geniuses. I'm tired of these geniuses in other walks of life thinking, I bought into the hype. I hopped on the hype train with Patricia. I was like, oh yeah, he's a fucking literal rocket scientist. Excellent. John Frusciante is one of my favorite guitar players. He's an amazing musician. He can't drive a car and he's almost 50. Just because you're good at one thing doesn't mean you're good at everything else. I know people who book smart who'd walk into a wall, say excuse me, and then turn around and walk right back into it. But they probably have 180 IQ. So there you go. No more of these geniuses, no more of these fucking old fucks, and no more of these, we got to give a guy his first chance. No, we are not the Fisher-Price starter kit for the fucking league. And I was saying the same thing when the Bucks were doing it. Greg Schiano. Dude, you were the head coach at Rutgers. What the fuck has Rutgers football program done in our lifetimes to think anybody that's a head coach at Rutgers should be a head coach in the NFL? Please tell me. I hired Lovie Smith and fired his ass. Like, you hired one of two coaches that went to the Super Bowl, what was it, 4 years before they hired him? Somewhere around there? This is my heavy drinking time. This is your late 20s. This is my early and mid 30s. So I'm like trying to remember, but the point was, it's like you can't hire the other coach who went to the Super Bowl that year because he's retired. Oh, and by the way, you had him, then you sent him away. That'd be in Dungy. So they get fucking Lovie Smith, and I don't even the season. Bye later. I'm just like, what are you fucking doing?
He parlayed that Super Bowl appearance into cash, is what he did.
Well, I'm gonna tell you what, man. If it wasn't for the bullshit with Brady in New England, Buccaneers had just been also-rans this season. Because who the fuck was coming down to Tampa Bay? First of all, who were they picking up in the draft? Not a fucking franchise quarterback. Winston gone. Who are they gonna bring in? Seriously, if Brady that shit hadn't happened, we're not talking about the Buccaneers.
Oh no,
right? The Lions ain't the Buccaneers though. You can't just plug and play a handful of you can't just. If Brady would have come to the Lions, I don't think the Lions' record would have been fucking more than 500. I just don't. And to be honest with you, he'd have probably fucking had a meltdown at a podium during a press conference sometime during the season, because he'd probably be like, "I am not used to dealing with this level of incompetence. What the fuck is wrong with this franchise?" I mean, it's kind of historic, man. Like, this is, people talk all this shit. Cubs, Red Sox, Maple Leafs, these long droughts for these teams that, have been around for fucking 100+ years or, close to it. The Lions,
64 years,
are a charter member of the NFL. Like, they were there when the NFL started. They were dominant. Detroit was the first city to have World Series champs, football champions, and Stanley Cup champions all in the same year. One of those teams, or two of those three teams, have went on to win championships since.
Yeah. And they weren't the Lions.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, when those three teams all won championships in the same year, I'm pretty sure the Lions were still playing at Tiger Stadium. The Tigers didn't have batting helmets, and I don't even think goalies wore masks at that point. And I'm not exaggerating.
Yeah.
So
pictures were still in black and white the last time this happened.
So I mean,
it's been 64 years since 1957, folks.
Literally, my father born, lived his entire life, and died, and he was never here to witness. He could have been born and lived his entire life and died in that period of time, the life he lived, and never would have witnessed it. People have been born and died.
I was going to say, there have been people who have been probably born in 1958 and have died since then.
I've had in the last handful of years, I had two buddies go that were big Lions fans, big football fans, but even bigger Lions fans. And if there is an afterlife, and I end up where they're at, once I'm like, "Are you sure we're not in hell?" Okay, I'll take your word for it. I'm gonna be like, "By the way, y'all didn't miss shit." However long I lived after y'all died,
they never won.
They never won. They didn't even make the playoffs. They're still retooling.
It's a rebuilding year.
Rebuilding decade. That's what the 2000s were for the Lions. A rebuilding decade. And what did they get out of it? 2 or 3 good teams at the beginning of the 2010s. You had
rebuilding since 1957.
No, seriously though. I mean, they made it to the playoffs twice.
Yeah.
Under Caldwell. Twice in 4 years or 3 years.
Lost both times, but yes.
And 1 year they had the best defense in the league, and then the other year they had Stafford and Megatron doing their best Brady Moss impersonation.
Hey, real quick, Megatron Hall of Fame, yes?
Oh yeah,
first time.
I would. Oh yeah, I would. You got to look at his stats, look at where he played. It's the Football Hall of Fame, and the reason I say it, Football Hall of Fame, they're not like when Todd would be on, we'd talk about this. Baseball Hall of Fame is a bunch of stick up their ass motherfuckers. Football Hall of Fame, they play a little bit more fast and loose. And because of the nature of the sport, he had a longer than average career, even though people will always say he prematurely ended his career. Same thing with Barry Sanders. Barry Sanders had 3 average NFL running back careers as far as length. Because back then it was like just shade under 3 years was your average running back's career span. And he lasted, 9 seasons? Or did he play full 10 seasons?
Who?
Barry Sanders. I think him and Megatron both played 10 seasons.
He retired in 98.
98 was his last season. He was drafted in 88, wasn't he? He had to be, because he took over Billy Sims, number 20.
See, I don't know. Calvin Johnson's only like 32 for receiving yards. But let's see touchdowns. Receptions.
Yeah, 1989 was Sanders' first year. 98 was his last. Because, it was preseason. He sent the fax to the Wichita Eagle of all places.
Yeah.
That's got to tell you how much he loves that organization. But that's what I'm saying. You have to take that into consideration. You put Megatron on the Chargers. What's his stats look like? Does him and Rivers walk? Do they retire with a Super Bowl?
Probably a couple.
I think they'd at least have made an appearance in one, because that was what was so frustrating, because that was around the time that I went down and was visiting family, different parts of the country, and the Lions were actually having decent teams, for the Lions at least. And my family were all excited, and all my, the family and friends I'd run into, oh, aren't you excited? And I'm like, no. Like, why? I'm like, one, I'm not a Lions fan. I don't give a fuck about the Lions. Two, it's the Lions. Yeah. Sue's out there tearing it up, but he's also stomping on people and getting fucking suspended and shit. Doing dumb shit. He's playing fucking recklessly. Yeah, Stafford and Megatron, that's a hell of a battery right there. But you ain't got much around that battery in that fucking engine compartment. Where was their running game? Who was their running game? I mean, it's just, Lions are what they are, and they've always been what they are, and they always, I don't see it changing. And I swear to God, if they hire a head coach and they hire a general manager, Earl's already done with the Lions, but we'll see. We all know how that goes. But I fully expect you to be like, well, I'm just fucking finally picking another team. Like, I'm just done.
I pick all the teams. I watch Red Zone.
Well, one last thing. Our fantasy football season has wrapped up. And the winner is my cousin.
Just won again.
Again. And I told her, I'm like, well, I'm going to extend to you the same thing I've extended to the winner of every fucking season that's not us, and whoever finishes highest. You can come on the show if you want. And she was like, yep, I want to come on. I got a gang of shit to talk to all y'all. I'm like, all right. So hopefully here next week or so, we'll have special guest, my cousin Jess, to get on here and talk. Oh, no. I got to wait till Earl gets back.
We all got beat by a girl.
I got to wait till Earl gets back. I can't have her on before that. He has to take this ass whooping she's going to give him verbally. Like, what if he ducked out because of that?
No.
Oh yeah, I got some problems. Okay. Well, no, because last time I talked to him, I'm like, dude, my cousin's coming on. Like, she seriously messaging me. So when am I coming on? Like, so she wants to give it to you. Whatever, man. Whatever. Okay. We all know how well you accept criticism and fucking gloating. So
let's look at her team. See, I can tell you why she won. She got Mahomes, Dalvin Cook. He was a league winner for you this year. Darren Waller. I mean, it's all you need. You need 3 studs. And then, the rest of her team, she got Josh Allen on the bench. So, there you go. I mean, the rest of her team, highly suspect, but you really just need 3 studs. 4 if you can get it. Like, if you can get a top QB, a top RB, like a top-tier receiver, and a top-tier tight end, that's it. It's over. Dude, you just ride to your championship. Which pretty much had that. And then, you got the Colts defense on the bench. Her Steelers defense was in her last lineup. Like,
she's
fucking AJ Green in her championship lineup. Come on, man. No, she had the right combination of studs. That's how she won.
I'm just saying, man, she plays in other leagues for money. She takes this shit serious, and it's just a numbers crunch to her.
Oh, yeah.
It's all crunch, and it's no fluff. She does not care about who plays on what team.
Yeah.
Nothing. It's all just give me the raw numbers.
I did take down 2 titles this year. One for money, one for... I've retained the championship belt in the one league that I started like 10 years ago. At some point, we picked up a championship belt as our trophy. I won it last year, and I won it again this year. And then I won a free league.
Well, I would have finished higher, but after I had that work mishap that made me forget to set my lineup during the playoffs, and I just went, I don't give a fuck. I was like, I don't give a fuck anymore. I was like, this is because if I'd have set my lineup the way I wanted to set it up, I'd have destroyed.
You'd have toasted him.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have won a championship game because I've looked at how much Jess had, and I'm like, yeah, I wouldn't have won that anyways. So
see, I would have. I won't talk about it. Because the week after I lose to Ice, I would have beaten anybody in the league. Like, I put up the most point. Like, I was like, son of a bitch. If I could have ended up in the championship game.
Dude, Kamara, 50 some fucking fantasy points on his own.
Yeah.
That's 2 very good players worth of points. Like, seriously. If I could get... Beginning of the season, I could almost count on every week 50 points between Josh, running back for fucking Vegas.
Josh Jacobs,
thank you. Yeah. And Lamar Jackson. I could almost count on 50 points between those 2 every week. And if not, I was a cunt hair away from 50 points. And I was like, well, fuck it then. I'll trade Brady. And then Jackson decides, no, I want to be a pocket passer. No. Run all over the place. Be Mike Vick. That's when you get your MVP, man. And it's also when you get all them fucking fantasy points.
Yeah, with quarterbacks especially, running's worth way more than passing.
I mean, so I trade away fucking Brady for fucking Tittle, or not Tittle. Yeah,
and then Kittle goes on the fucking IR.
Kittle goes. I didn't even get to play him one time. I was like, you know what? And I still finished in the top 4?
You were the first in our division. Like, we had the same record, but you had me in point. Trust me, dude. This league. Oh my God. Whatever. People, we're gonna bitch about our fantasy football team. We're wrapping it up anyway. First of all, like. You know, you always complain about picks. Prime example, I had first pick. A lot of fat good that did me this year. Because McCaffrey only played 4 fucking times. He spent the rest of the year on the bench. I scratched and I clawed my way into the playoffs for this league. I care more about this league than leagues where I invested money in. This is a free league. I shouldn't have gave a fuck. But it's because I scratched and I clawed. In week 7, I was 2-5. And I managed to finish 7-6 and got into the playoffs. And then it looked like CMC was going to come back. Goes on no, it doesn't come back. And then that fucking bullshit with David Johnson getting COVID is what fucked me. Like, I lost both of my running back. I could stand to lose one of them, but I lost both of them. And then I ended up losing to Ice by like 4.6 points. God damn it. Sorry.
No, dude. First fucking year, I really was like, I'm going to be serious about this. I'm going to blah, blah, blah. Because literally what I was doing the first, 3-4 seasons we played this, I had never played fantasy before. I was just thumbing my way on the internet through different theories of how to run a fantasy team and trying to stick to one as best I could all season and going, okay. And then the next season, pick a completely different theory, assimilate what I learned in the first season. You see what I'm saying?
That's what I did too. When I first started playing too, like, hey, let's try this. That didn't work. Okay, but we learned this last season. So let's try this year.
The important thing is not to panic, but also don't fall in love with your fucking players.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But don't panic. Oh my God. Fucking Jackson was, supposed to put up like 25.6 points and he only put up fucking 22. Should I trade him? Should I bench him? Like, get the fuck out of here, dude. That's still a pretty damn good game.
Dude, you have to the one thing that it's a Matthew Berry rule, and it is so fucking, the last 2 seasons I started applying it and I've gotten so much better. What's most likely to happen? Like, case in point, you talked about waiting with Deshaun Watson. Like this season, oh my God, there were so many times like, man, should I drop him? No. Should I drop him? He almost got dropped a few times, but I kept going. Dude, it's fucking Deshaun Watson. He's going to be Deshaun Watson at some point. And he was. So, yeah, it's like he said, you got to be patient with some people. But but there's other people where, you know, like the team where I retained the belt, my championship lineup straight up was my fucking, the team that I drafted on draft day. That rarely fucking happens. That was an 8-team league, by the way. But yeah, more than likely, your championship lineup, you're gonna maybe have 3 or 4 guys you drafted.
Oh yeah, I figured that out the first season. That was one of my first lessons, because I was thinking like, boy, I better hang. Because once I saw that certain players you couldn't move, like your first overall pick or whatever, I was like, oh.
Well, they adjust those too throughout the season. I don't know if you've noticed. People who can't drop in week 1 are not. Sometimes they still can't drop in week 13, but sometimes somebody else has moved on to be can't drop. Like it's adjusted every week.
Okay, yeah. I did notice that. But yeah, like I thought like, oh, I gotta hang on to my players. I gotta protect them at all costs. I can't drop them. And if I do, you know, I'm sitting there like sweating over, oh, my defense has a bye. What defense do I pick up? Just pick up the one that's fucking projected to do the best and get the fuck on with it.
Yep. There are only rare defenses you hang on to. This season it was Indy. I managed to hang on to Indy in a couple leagues, and when it came for their bye week, I was definitely benching them and just picking up somebody else. And then but generally, you're not riding the same defense the whole season. Only for me, it's only if it's like a top 5 defense. Which this year it was like your Baltimores, your Pittsburghs, your Rams, your Dolphins, your Indies.
Yeah, it's been a very interesting little period of time here with playing fantasy football with you guys and learning, because I don't know if I'd play with anybody else, because everybody wants to seem to shit talk, and it's like, I don't know you, dude. And I know this goes opposite of how most people are, but if I don't know you and you shit talk me, that's the easier way to catch an ass whooping than being my friend and shit talking me. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, like it's like I don't roughhouse. I don't do the sack tap game and shit, because if I get my sack tapped really hard and the pain hits, I'm not going to double over. I'm going to go like I'm going to turn into the Hulk, and I'm going to want to fucking rip somebody's throat out with my teeth.
Damn.
And I've bit chunks of body off of people in a fight because they were dumb enough to try to stick their fucking hands near my mouth, and I'm like, not today, motherfucker. And yeah, so I don't play those games, man. That's why I never wanted to play fantasy football, because I'm like, I don't want to hate my friends, but I just don't get fucking personal. But I feel like if I played with a bunch of strangers and someone started talking shit, I'd be like, there's your address, motherfucker, coming for you. You know what I'm saying?
There's only one league that I'm in where I am satisfied with the level of shit talk that goes on. There are a couple other leagues I'm in where I am severely disappointed by the lack of shit talking that goes on.
Well, that's what I'm saying. And that's the other weird fucking thing about this league, is that outside of you, Earl, Jess, and the one year when my buddy Tony was in it, I don't know anyone in this league. So we don't talk. And the only talking that Tony, like, because I don't talk shit before the game. Like, I'm not one of those guys. So I just, like, and I don't talk shit after the game unless they try to. If you lost and you try to talk shit to me, I'm going to rub it in your face that you lost. Like, you deserve that. But if you lost, you just be like, man, if I'd have just played so-and-so, like, yeah, bro, yeah, sucks. I'm not going to sit there and be like, yeah, you suck, your mother sucks, and you're ugly and she dresses you funny. You know what I'm saying? Like,
well, the one league I won, I told the guys, like, hey, man, you benched your championship. Like, I hope you learned. Like, I told him, like, he rode Pittsburgh to the finals, and then he benches Ben, he benches Juju, he benches James Conner, and they all put up, like, crazy numbers. And he rolls with, like, Jalen Hurts and some other people he picked up on the waiver wire. I was like, dude, you always dance with who brought you in the championship game. He's like, yeah, that backfired on me. He's like, you would have beat me.
Well, things you learn, man. Things you learn.
It's all right. So that's about it. Wrap it up. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter at Sporgy Podcast. You can always drop us an email, Sporgy oh man, I always forget if it's, I think it's Sporgy Podcast, ChristopherMedia.net. I don't know, just go to Twitter, get a hold of it that way, or drop us a message on Facebook. ChristopherMedia.net, hit the Amazon banner. It doesn't cost you anything extra, and it helps us out. There's also a PayPal button if you want to just click that. Maybe subscribe there, or just drop us a couple bucks. And wherever you listen to podcasts, please rate us, review us. Ratings and reviews are how people find out about things nowadays. I know it kind of steers me with how I pick a lot of things. I don't know about you there, Rich, but when I'm looking for something new, I'm definitely checking out the ratings.
I give you 10 to 15 minutes. If you bore me, you gots to go.
Yeah.
I send the Sandman out like it's amateur night for Apollo.
Yeah, so if you make it past those first 15 minutes, rate us, review us, say you like it, help other people find us. And, where you're listening, it's everywhere, right? It's Spotify, it's Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spreaker.com, iHeartRadio app, Stitcher, ChristopherMedia.net. Wherever you listen to the podcast, that's where we are. And we thank you for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, later, guys.
You heard that safe drivers get rewarded with Snapshot from Progressive, so you went online to check it out. But then you saw an ad for a vintage baseball cap, and now you find yourself checking the stats of that team's second baseman in '97, wondering why his stolen base total dropped after his rookie season. Wonder how much his rookie card is worth. Yes, they said it was easy to save money with Snapshot from Progressive, but they forgot about the rest of the internet. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California, North Carolina, or from all agents.
Professional painters know waiting between coats for trim, doors, and cabinets to dry is time out of your day and money out of your pocket. Bare Premium Cabinet and Trim Enamel from the Home Depot lets you finish faster. With excellent flow and leveling, it dries to the touch in 1 hour. And less dry time means less downtime. Bare Premium Cabinet and Trim Enamel, just $39.98 a gallon. And that's before the Pro Extra discount. Only at the Home Depot. How doers get more done. Available in-store and online.
Thank you for visiting ChristopherMedia.net.